Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, you need to listen. You need to listen to me. I am the captain. That's right. I'm not normally up late enough to do this show, and Paul is driving back from the MCG. So when he gets here, he can host this show. But until then, you're stuck with Uncle Buck. And by the look of things, Uncle Johnny, who's going to be joining the chat. We are, of course, from the Chaps Chat Cats. I really was tempted to add John into the studio then. It looked like he was filming basically from his dick up. That's where the angle was. Like his little fella, his big fella, was holding the camera, looking up at him. But I'm going to leave him there for now. I can see Ethan from North America wiring in as well. So we'll get to everyone tonight. Of course we will. But what a win. What a win. I'm going to bring Johnny in first up as my co-host here. Johnny Larkin, how are you?
Hello. Pretty good. Can't complain. I could, but no one will listen.
Look out. Big fella 07T says, clean your camera lens, Cham. You need to pee on the end of that, big fella. Champ is what you're after. And I can't clean my camera. The camera is clean. The problem is I live in the middle of absolutely fucking nowhere and my internet is terrible. And so therefore that is why. It's not the camera at all. Nothing to do with that. I might as well be living in the middle. They've got better internet in Fallujah than I have. What a win tonight for the Cats.
What a win.
Paul and Ben are being held hostage by the hairy cat, says Sputicus. Got that damn right. Got that damn right. Benny says, Paul asleep again. I hope not. He's meant to be at the wheel.
Yeah.
As I
driving
said,
up
we're sort of like
the highway.
We big fella 07T says, no probs, must be the 9 jacks you've had. No, it's not. My camera probably does look like shit. I'm not disputing that. It's just that I can't do anything about it because I live in the middle of nowhere. What a win, Johnny. I know we've got to get to callers or like, it's not radio, Jake, it's streaming. But the Cats winning the game tonight, 15-7, 97 to 10-12, 72. Johnny, the Cats got out to the hot start. Then they were challenged significantly by the Pies at one point during the third term. It looked like, oh, geez, if we don't get this under control soon, they might boil over us. But they didn't, Johnny. And without Cameron, without Dangerfield, without Holmes, the Cats, they took control of the game in the end. They win it with 5 goals to 3 in the final term. Keeping their top 4 chances alive. I mean, it's slim because it's not all within their control. They need things to happen ahead of them. But you couldn't have asked for much better after a rough middle patch of the season. The Cats respond win against teams around them or above them on the ladder. What were your takeaways tonight, just to kick us off?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty classic game from the Cats. We get out to that good 49-point margin, and then sort of just don't really just need to put the foot to the throat of the Pies, sort of let them get a little bit of momentum. They got the balls inside 50. They were able to hold it there and get just those 3 cheap goals, I'd say. It was just disappointing the way they were able to get them, but on the overall thing, it was a well-managed game, a well-played game by the Cats to just keep them at arm's length. It never felt like Collingwood was going to really snatch this win. It just felt like we were keeping them just enough away from the score that we're still a bit nervous, but I didn't feel like we were about to drop the bundle and lose this game. I think once we got out to a really good lead, we're just able to control it a bit more and sort of not have to overexert ourselves to really keep them at bay. We just had to do the right things at the right time, which Cats were able to do. Made a few errors here and there, but overall it was a good game. a fun game to watch.
Yeah, fun game to watch, a fun result, obviously. I hope, not only yourself, Johnny, but I hope everybody who's going to jump in and have a chat tonight has brought adequate amounts of soap and hot water, because we are going to do some serious ball washing. We're going to wash the balls of some players tonight, because there were some guys who deserve a wash,
There was one disappointing thing on the whole night.
What's that?
No Roman Bryant on a Thursday night after the game.
What? Oh, he was sad the Pies lost, maybe, John.
Yeah, they went straight to the Commonwealth Games.
Watch Australia beat up on a bunch of, smaller Commonwealth nations.
Yeah.
Good God. Oh. All right. Benny knows what it's all about. It's time to wash some balls. Because there are plenty who need a washing. The youngsters, like Jay Polkinghorne, Jai Clark, get them a wash. They deserve it.
Yep.
You can look at, Mitch Edwards. He competed hard. Did he win the ruck duel? No. He competed hard. A number of players, okay, who played well. But let's maybe Benny says nut wash city limits. Let's haul in our friend from across the sea, if Ethan's ready, because he can help us wash some balls
from across the Pacific.
Yeah.
Ocean.
That's right, from across the Pacific. We're getting geography just so right here, Johnny. Here we go. Ethan from the Americas.
Yes, sir. Back home.
POSTGAME Live. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Ethan.
Pretty good. I always thought from the start of the year this would be a matchup that we'd split. I had a weird kind of uneasy feeling leading up to tonight's game, and then we jumped on them. That first quarter and a half or so was a mix of our absolute best and some of their absolute worst, with the exception of Jeremy Howe. I mean, how many times did they kick it out on the full in the first quarter and a half?
That's a narrow
ground, the G.
Like, one thing that had me a little confident was knowing their goal kicking had been so good the last few weeks. It's like, all right, we're due for some regression there. And we were very good going for goal for the most part. And other than McStay, they weren't. There were times where they just tried blasting ahead without any target in mind. And the way Tom Atkins started this game, that's the version of him we got last year. That's a premiership caliber midfield when you have Atkins clicking like that. And I know his numbers weren't anything special tonight, but I loved the way Bailey Smith got into the contest, engaged himself defensively. That's been missing at times this year. Shit, I think if he had done that a couple months ago, I think we solved Carlton, among other things. So even if it wasn't his most, profound game, like he didn't rate. Where did he rate? Okay, they rated him as our fourth best. Champion Data did. They had his efficiency by hand and by foot both pretty low, but I thought he was more invested tonight and bought in defensively than I've seen at times. Yeah. And then Ollie Dempsey just loves playing Collingwood.
Yeah, I love Smith's game.
Collingwood.
You go, John.
As I say, both Ollie's love playing, or what Ollie's do, actually. Ollie Wiltshire, Ollie Dempsey, Ollie Henry. They all played really well tonight.
I loved Wiltshire tonight.
Brilliant.
I don't care that he had 12 disposals. The amount of little crumbs and knock-ons and contests he got into was just him and Jai Clark both just play so hard from start to finish. The intensity never drops from either of them. And that's huge. And that puts us in such a good position. And it's kind of hard to believe that those guys were struggling to get games when the effort is just so good out of those dudes.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at like Wiltshire's development, I think too, since he's coming to the AFL side. Like, obviously he had a bit of a taste of it in 2025, gets dropped after that, but comes back in this year. And let's be honest, if Stengel's on the field, if Brad Close was in form earlier in the season, Wiltshire probably doesn't get as much of a look in. And he wasn't off to the hottest start once they put him into the team this year. But having said that, having made the most of his opportunity, like he's that perfect extra small forward at the moment for us because he's mercurial. Like that goal at the end was absolutely brilliant. The one that was sort of effectively the sealer. But I don't know. I just love his energy. I think his tackling's lifted, and those sorts of things. Like just his pressure efforts and that. I think he's playing a really vital role for us. But Ollie Henry, I always get deep satisfaction from watching him play well against the old club. And he played well again tonight, 3 goals straight or whatever it was, and just did so much good shit for us.
Yeah, brilliant yet again. I think those boos at the start of the game sort of revved him up a bit. And then they quieted down pretty quick.
The balance between our forwards tonight was really good, between all three of Ollie, Polk, and Neil. It seemed just really, really even. Every one of them had their role. Nobody kind of got in each other's way. Everyone got their work in. And it was like, pick your poison. You're not going to be able to contain all of them all the time. You might be able to throw your best onto one of them and cut them down a bit, but you're not going to stop all of them.
No. And as soon as Hal went out, you could really see that's when just got a bit easier for us going full forward with Jeremy Hal not in the pitch, getting those great marks. He always seems to find a way to get an impact. So, yeah, that was another really good performance by all those three. Again, second week in a row that we see them all contribute a big number in goals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so like I was just thinking about the youngsters. Like we were talking about it on chat, Johnny. Like no Cameron, no Danger, no Holmes, and then you think about some of the experience that's in the VFL at the moment. No Bo, and this isn't to say that. Like, I get that they're not in the team because they're probably not in the best 23, but just in terms of the experience of playing in a game like this, no Buse, Stanley's injured, obviously, but wouldn't probably have been in the team. No Bose, no Kolajasny. So, like, there's a lot of younger guys kind of learning to do this stuff for the first time. Like, hey, we start hot, we roll out, we look like we're going to roll over the top of them. Collingwood fight back. The crowd's up and about. You hear that roar. Like it's like few other stadiums in the AFL where when Collingwood gets on a roll, I mean, I guess it's like that when Richmond was up and about. Whoever the hot, MCG team is at that point in time, they get on a roll, you hear, 60,000 people, roaring for your team. And these young guys learnt to take control of it. And it wasn't just the older and veteran blokes. I was talk about washing some bowls. Shannon Neal, 2 goals, 7 marks, couple of tackles, couple of hitouts, and a goal assist. I just loved watching what he did without the footy. Like there's a moment in the first quarter where Dempsey takes a mark and you see Shannon Neal do the Jeremy Cameron, two fists up in the air, like celebrating. You see guys like Jack Martin, super experienced player, take a mark and his eyes are darting. He's thinking about, am I going to pass it? And it's Shannon Neal who comes over and says, just cool it and take your shot. I have so much faith. I don't know about you guys, but in Shannon Neal taking control of this forward line in the future, I think he's the man for the job.
I had faith in him from the very start. He was, I was like, he's our new Tommy Hawkins in a sense in that he can be the new big, burly full forward. And he's absolutely taken control of that forward line. And he doesn't want to be the main guy. He wants to be that team player. And I think the way he played tonight really showed that that's what he wants to do. He wants to be a full forward, but he also doesn't want to be this is my forward line. It's mine, Oakenhorns, and Ollie Henry's forward line. And they're making it work like that really well.
The distribution and balance again was so good. So I totally agree on that. I think he doesn't want 80% of the forward entries to be in his direction. He wants 30 to 40% going to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting to think about, isn't it, how dysfunctional this forward line kind of looked like a few weeks ago, in that losing streak. And it's just like, we saw them adjust things even when Cameron went down back before he got injured. Like it looked like they were figuring some shit out. it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes moving forward. Like, I think that the way the AFL seems this year, it seems like there's probably like 3, maybe 4 really, really, really exceptional teams. And then like 8 other clubs who are all on a very similar path, either due to form or due to injury or due to their squad composition. Like, I think, and so I think the Cats are going to face stiffer opposition than what they faced tonight. But that shouldn't take away from the fact that this was a massive win. Like, it was a massive effort to get this done. Ethan, I want your thoughts on Jay Polkinghorne. I don't know how much of the VFL you get to watch. I
haven't gotten to watch a ton of him in the VFL, but the way he leads and marks has been really clean. He's got great hands. The goal kicking and confidence is coming. It might not be the strongest part of his game yet, but it's improving. He just from the debut though, he just looks like he's ready and he belongs in there. And if you listen to some of the post-game interviews when they were talking with Brian on 7 after, and he was talking about how, we have guys that, they really want to let them get their time in the twos and get settled in and then bring them up. You definitely saw that with Polkinghorne. And I would have loved for him to get a game sooner, but he's definitely ready.
Yeah, and Big Polk, like having watched him the last, I was going to say, 12 to 18 months. He debuted last year, obviously in round 1. But, he's kicked 51 goals in 23 VFL games. So he's come in and pretty much straight away announced himself and put a body of work together and shown what he can do. I think I was just having a look at his VFL stats. He has never gone goalless in the VFL. One game. There was one game against Footscray last season where he didn't kick a goal, but leading up to his debut this year, it was 4 goals 6, 2 goals straight, 3 goals 2, 3 goals 1, 3 goals 1, 5 goals 3, and 10 marks. So he just looks like a dead set, next gen player. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me at all even if say Cameron gets healthy and Polk finds his way out of the side. I don't think he will. I think they'll find a way to keep him in the team. It'll be someone like Jack Martin, maybe, to bump out. But
I think
come
Martin gets dropped
2027,
this coming week.
Yeah, he's a best. I said this on the VFL podcast we did today. I think there's some players, there's a number of players that I think they're not best 23, but they are best 30 to 35. And any given week, given the squad composition, given injury and all that sort of stuff, they'll come in and get a game. But they're not going to be there every week. And I absolutely agree. Yeah. I think Jack Martin's one of those guys. He's a squad depth player.
We have better depth than almost anyone. And you see that in not just the games we're winning in the twos, but in the guys that we can bring in. Like, my tone has totally changed on James Warple and what he's brought to the midfield lately. Like, he brings this physical limiting presence to stop anyone if we couldn't get the clearance. And he's just been huge in some of those where maybe the opposition gets a hit out to advantage, but he's there to quickly wrap them up and force another ball up. And we're finding ways to fit the pieces together, even if, is Warple that skilled with the ball? Not necessarily. He hasn't had any really bad clangers lately. He's been a floor raiser. And even if his kicking efficiency was really low tonight and he got dinged with 7 turnovers, the 11 ground ball gets were huge. And how many tackles did he end up on?
I think he had 10, didn't he?
He had 10 clearances.
6 tackles, 10 clearances. And we found it took us longer than I think it necessarily should have, but we're finding the right equation of the right guys to put together right now.
Yeah. It's going to take a little while to find the right, especially if the new guys like James Warple coming through and still Jai Clark improving, Connor O'Sullivan improving, Dempsey trying out new positions. No Brian Myers, no Brad Close as well for a fair chunk of the season. So yeah, definitely felt like we went through that phase of where we're going to fit everyone in this side, and then we give those guys a time in the VFL to really find their confidence their form, how the Cats work, and it's paying off now. The Cats always find a way to
all
get
the
things to
faith in
work.
the world in Dempsey every time he's out there. I trust him in big moments. I trust him in every spot.
He's amazing.
Back to Polkinghorne for a moment, though. He's not quite a true tall forward. He's closer to a tall forward than a small forward. But he's kind of a bit of a tweener, which reminds me of, a potential target down the road for us in Logan Morris, who I think is phenomenal. If we could already have Logan Morris at home, that would be great. And then the other thing that I hadn't even thought of until just now is he's played his last 2 games on the G instead of having to play at places, little VFL ovals where there's no stand to block the wind. I'm sure he's appreciating getting to just kick without having to deal with the wind at Williamstown and stuff.
Yeah. And Polkinghorne, that's probably been his biggest thing coming in from the VFL is that kicking consistency. You look at Shannon Neal, who's got a pretty reliable, set shot routine and that sort of thing. He's got quite a clean action. Polkinghorne's still working on that, I think, and I think he'll work into it. But his strength and his wrestling, Johnny's looking like he's just gone into the adult film studio. The purple lights are on,
doesn't it?
Getting ready for a scene. I can see we've got Brad in the chat as well, so I'll bring you in shortly here. Brad, I was going to make the point. You were saying there, Ethan, about how Geelong are, they're fitting the pieces together, they're working it out. The Cats under Chris Scott have always reminded me, to make a North American sports reference, of the New England Patriots, in the sense that during that run, there were maybe a handful of real brand names in that New England Patriots team. And then the supporting cast would shift every few years, and they'd keep on sort of, turning new shells over and going, oh, maybe this guy can play a role, maybe that guy can play a role. And sometimes even within a season that New England they'd work it out. They'd get to halfway and you'd be like, oh, I don't know what they're going to do. And then second half of the year, they discover what their identity is that year. They've discovered what pieces are going to work where, and on they go and they make another deep playoff run. I kind of feel like that's the Cats here. I think we have maybe one of the best squad depths. I don't think we have one of the, I think we're borderline top 4 or 5 in terms of top talent. I think if you stack us against Brisbane, I think Brisbane probably have us covered in terms of the top level stuff. I think even, there's a couple other teams, but in terms of our depth and the amount of contributors we can have in any given week, I think that's where I really, really like us. I think we do run deeper, and I think we're finding a way to work everyone out. I'm going to bring Brad in here as well. Ethan, are you happy to stick around a bit longer? I've got no idea. Is it 4 a.m. over there or something? All right, cool.
6:15.
Brad. Oh,
Evening,
6:15. That's early stuff. Hey, Brad, how are you?
Brad.
Nice. I don't think we've ever spoken in person. We might have interacted on Twitter or something.
Twitter. We would have interacted many times, guys. Many times. I'll tell you what. Tonight we saw the future, and the future looks bloody good. Forward of the footy, doesn't it?
Pretty bloody good.
So excited.
Because you look at what we got. Polkinghorne looks like, and Stewie said it after the game actually on Fox. He said Polk looks like he's played 150 games. The guy's played 3 games of footy, of league footy.
He's looking pretty good. He just got to clean up that kicking action, and he's going to be an absolute star.
He just knows where to go to get it. He doesn't seem to get in the way, of leading lanes for anyone else. He just sort of goes where he needs to go and lets the boys do what they have to do. Couple of times on the wing, even in the last 2 weeks, he's gone up to the wing, sort of Jezza style, and put in the speed. If you look at the last couple of strides, he's really quick. You don't realise how quick he is until he's against 3 other blokes and he goes past them like they're not standing there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great athlete, Polk.
He's going to be something special, but I just hope that, do we feed him in, don't put pressure on him straight away and just feed him through, and
I was just having. You go.
Yeah, young guys.
I was just looking at his stats and look across his first 3 games, in the AFL. He's now taken 18 marks in 3 games, so averaging 6 marks a game. He's kicked 7 goals, 4 in his first 3 games. Like, that's pretty exceptional for a player to come in and do that. And it's funny, isn't it? Like, we always talk about forwards, like, they take longer to develop than other positions on the field. He's come in and in 18 months, he looks like he's ready to go. Like, he looks like he's ready to hold on to his spot. I
think he's had to be ready to go because I think in the background, Chris Scott would have been saying, "Hey, Jez is not 100%. Something's gonna, he's gonna have some time off where you're going to get a game." I think it would have been pre-prepared. The fact that Jez has smashed his shoulder to pieces is probably the best thing that's ever happened for Jay Polkinghorne. and the rest of us look at Jez and go down, and he goes, "Oh crap, we're done." Because I know that when I was watching the GWS, that I was thinking, "Oh shit, we're finished." Right? Jez has gone. We've literally got Polk, and that's it. And he comes in, looks like Charlie Kerner.
Yeah, and Scotty said in his presser, he said, I was expecting this from Polk this early. He was ready to perform. We were sure of it. He's playing an important structural role, complementary to the forward line. Real challenge." Okay, that's the end of that quote that Shadu has just popped there from Scotty's presser. I'd love some thoughts from anyone here on a player that I absolutely love and have loved watching his development. But Jai Clark, from, he's the next Joel Selwood, he's gritty inside mid, and that never really clicked. And now to playing this sort of like, I don't know, defensive, counter-attacking, hard pressuring, small defender kind of role. Like, he looks a player transformed. It's probably been his best 3 weeks of AFL footy back to back to back, hasn't it?
Most definitely. He's looked incredibly confident in himself. He's just looking like he knows what he needs to do throughout each game. Probably should have gotten a goal tonight, just muffed his kicks. But apart from that, he's looking real solid in that halfback's position and getting more midfield time. It feels like he's definitely getting up in that midfield more often, which is good to see.
It looks pretty assured, doesn't it? With him and, like, you look at him and Bruin and, like, Tanner being Tanner, you don't realise how good that bloke was because you missed him for a year and he's now come back. But Bruin being in the side is helping Clark. And it doesn't look like that on the TV, but at the ground, when you're at the ground, it really looks like Tanner's almost teaching him. I mean, they've only played, Tanner's probably played, 60 games. And Clarkie's probably played 30. But it just feels like it's being taught on the go.
Yeah, and it's been amazing to watch him in the VFL. Like, this is something that started. I just did a VFL podcast for the Hoops Crew Patreon this afternoon, and I looked at 5 players and, like, how Geelong seem to identify when they're ready. And when you look at, say, like Lawson Humphreys, when you look at Ollie Wiltshire, when you look at Jay Polkinghorne and Jai Clark, it really does come down to, you put your resume together in the VFL, you get your opportunity of one game, and if in that one game you don't show that you can produce something close to your VFL production, you get bumped back. Like, you look at Humphreys, and he came out of the VFL after 11 games and basically came in and produced exactly what he said he could. And so there he retained his spot. Polkinghorne comes in averaging whatever it was, 3 goals a game in the VFL and a bunch of marks. He comes in and does exactly the same in the AFL. And I look at Jai Clark, and that's not been his journey. He was always one of those players where he'd rack it up in the VFL and then he'd bounce out of the side. He'd play, 40% game time as the sub. And, injury got him. And then last year, he was in the side, and then it was like they decided halfway through, we're going to try and make a bit of a change here to what you are. And they unlocked a bit of speed and dash. They started playing in behind the ball. And I think at first, my guess is that was to try and change how he saw the game unfolding ahead of him. Like, rather than playing all his footy in traffic, it was like, let's start you in games, and they'd do it where he'd play the first quarter down back. And then throughout the game, they'd slowly push him into the midfield. But then this year, he started in the team and then got dropped for probably 2 or 3 months and was just playing VFL footy. And they really seemed to commit to, you are now playing as a defender. And he just looked so confident. And I'm so glad that they've brought him in and not played him out of his VFL position. They've given him the chance to come in and play what he's been doing in the twos. And geez, he's looked good. And I'm so happy for him, because it's a lot of pressure to come in how he did with the hype around him. And then to undergo the positional kind of change that he has, that's huge. And I think speaks volumes to his work ethic and that sort of thing. Ethan, I'm interested to know your thoughts here. I want to bring you in on a bit of a Mitch Edwards discussion, because obviously, here's a guy who's played, what is it? Is it 16? This was his 16th game, and he's up against a guy in Darcy Cameron who's played 100 and, nearish 140 games of footy. There's a 10-year age difference. How did you see Mitch Edwards' game tonight? And then in the context of the whole season, how have you felt about Edwards' sort of debut season as a starting ruck for the Cats at AFL level?
I think he's done really well. Within tonight, I thought he played Cameron pretty even, which I think very highly of Cameron. So for him to if you can just neutralize him, I'll take that. What I loved about him tonight, and has been probably my favorite thing about his game all year, is how he gets involved outside of the initial hitouts. And he was involved in a couple tonight. There was one where he knocked down like a Nick Dacos handball. He had a couple others where he's really smooth by hand. He runs the ground really well. And I think if you were to look at the overall course of the season, I think he's done really well for himself. Like, Luke Jackson's gotten the best of him, but that's going to happen against everyone. I think overall he's really establishing himself very quickly as someone who can go in there, and we're easing him in still, I think, largely because we're rotating Blitzovs and Neil and DeConing into ruck contests as well. But I think we're putting him in a good position to succeed, and I think largely he's been doing it.
Yeah. Either of you guys, Brad or Johnny, you got any thoughts on Big Edwards and his development in this year?
Go for it, Johnny.
Pretty happy with how he's going. Like, he's definitely gone up against the best and held his own fairly well. Like, he, as I said on our Chaps episode on Monday, he got Max Gawn pissed off enough that he punched the ground a few times. So in my books, he's doing everything he can to just help the Cats. He's making mistakes, but this is his first year as a first choice ruck, and he's doing an absolutely brilliant job, and he's only going to get better. Like, he's already pretty good. So I'm really looking forward to him getting bigger and stronger.
I mean, look, he's 16. He's going, mate.
Here's something I love tonight out of his game: 25 hitouts, 9 to advantage. If you can get over 30% to advantage, you feel pretty good, and that's 36%.
Yeah,
definitely.
Take it away, Brad.
It actually helps having a decent ruckman, doesn't it? We haven't.
We haven't been easier.
We haven't seen one since Alton's, and we had to go and get him for that reason. You leave Mitch Edwards, and you imagine Mitch Edwards at this time next year, another 20 games, right? Another 25 games, right? That gives him 40 games, 40 career games by that time, and he's probably the best young ruck in the comp. If this trajectory keeps going and he keeps getting better and better and better every week, it's gonna the young ruckmen he'll go past them all. Like, there'll be Max Gordon, Luke Jackson, and these guys and then there'll be that step down, and then there'll be Mitch Edwards, and there'll be a gap. He'll
I'd be
be
very happy with that.
he'd be the third. He'll be the third best. Well, if you take Max out of it, because you know that Max is not going to play forever, but he's probably going to be the second best ruckman in the comp. Pure ruckman.
Because Grundy
Like
can
the
only
man,
do this
the
how
man
much
needs to
longer.
learn. The man needs to learn to kick. Don't get me wrong, because he has a shot for goal to win a final, and he kicks it like he kicked it tonight. I'm not going to be happy, but he genuinely could be the second best ruckman in the comp. And the kid's, 20? Is he?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, statistically, he's been on our list since 2024. He'd played 10 games of VFL footy before this year. He played 3 games in 2024. He'd played 7 games in 2025. He'd been stricken with injury, but he showed a lot of promise in the last game of VFL footy he played in 2025. He had 23 touches, 3 marks, 21 hitouts, and 3 behinds against Sydney. And they've just thrown him in. And so, that's kind of a bit of a rarity, I think, isn't it, for the Cats? Like we've just talked about, your proof of concept stuff. And I honestly think this was the plan probably last year. If Conway was healthy, I think Stanley would have been solidly the VFL ruck like he has been this year, and you would have been playing the young guy. The benefit for Edwards and to another extent Joe Pike of Conway's injuries is they've been able to close the gap. Like Joe Pike was miles behind Edwards in terms of his athleticism and his fitness, and he was miles behind Conway in terms of his ruck craft. But the fact that Joe Pike's churned out something like 50 games in 3 years at VFL level, he's closed that gap to the point where now, I'm half curious to get a look at Joe Pike if Edwards needs a rest at some point.
There's a bit of the sausage man Shane Mumford about Joe Pike, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Hey? Bit of Shane Mumford about him. He comes from miles back, and he was about 130 kegs when he got to the club, and there's a lot of Shane Mumford about him.
Yeah.
I do wonder.
Yeah.
I do wonder if Stanley was healthy, if this was a game we might have given to him with only a 6-day break. This one, he did well against Cameron last time, but I'm glad that Mitch had the opportunity and made the most of it.
Yeah. Eyeball Billy says 206 centimeter athletic ruckman. What's not to like? And that's true. And
correct.
Geez, we've got some athletic talls like Jacob Mollier. I know he's out with a quad strain, and that's been his issue the last 12 months playing at the Cats. But he's 203 centimeters, and there's a goal he kicked a few weeks ago where he collected it on the defensive side of the wing, and just ran and bounced and kicked a goal. So there's talent on this Cats list.
It's
Python Dart says,
Quadzilla.
Yeah, Quadzilla. Python Dart says, wash his bowls. We do need to wash some more bowls because there are players who deserve a bowl washing. Who else what other balls are we going to wash here for the players tonight? We've talked about James Warple. We've talked about what do we think about Ollie Henry and his game tonight? Johnny and I talked a little bit about it. Yeah, go for it, Brad. Talk to us about Ollie Henry. Super game. His last fortnight have been the best two or three games he's played for the footy club since he's been from Collingwood. Right? What he kicked in his first season, he kicked 40 in his first season. Everyone went, this guy's going to be a star. Then they sort of last year or the year before, they took him out because they couldn't play him and Danger in the same forward line. And everyone went, Ollie Henry he won't make it. Right, the kid gets what? And I'm saying he's a kid because he's only 20, still 23. Yeah,
and still 23. Been here for 3 years. You guys kicked 30 something goals in not many games.
Yeah,
he's not bad for what he does. There are days he looks like Ken Kingsley and couldn't get near it, but there are also days where he looks like tonight that. The space that the other forwards provide him allows him to do his thing. and his thing is attack the ball hard and take high marks. His thing is not on the ground like a Wiltshire or a Close or a Stengel when he was there. His idea is just, that's it. He can still do it.
His efforts have been so much better all year long.
I think if he didn't have his efforts, he would have been out the door. I think Scotty might have. Well, I think the footy club might have put it on him. Like, he's just come back a different player. Like last year, almost looked like he lacked confidence.
Mm-hmm.
That he was going to get in the way because Paddy's there, and if Paddy's in the forward line, get out of my way. This year, it's like, no, it's my spot. I'm taking it.
That's what's really interesting to me, though. It's another game where, you think about the talent we're we're theoretically lacking in this forward line. No Danger, no Jez, and we go and kick, game-winning score in a really tough match against a really good back line. Was it 97 points? Flash says he's matured, adapted to what team needs. I dip my cap to the lad. He's relevant again. I was just having a look at his stat line for this year. 35 goals. I think did he have 2 behinds? 30. So he's got 35 goals, 16 for the season. He's only 6 goals away from his previous best, which was 41 back in 2023. So yeah, he's had a super year.
He's done well.
Yeah.
And if we get 2 to 3 goals out of him each game, that's all we need. And he just brings that pressure. He's bringing that good pressure in the forward line and going for marks. So yeah, 2 to 3 goals a game is perfect.
Yeah.
Tied for the team lead with 7 score involvements. I love that we have 5 guys sharing the team lead in score involvements. I think that kind of sums up the game we had tonight.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, the 3. Well, who were the 3? Ollie, Mullen, and who else?
Brian 7 score involvements, Mana 7 score involvements, Jai Clark 7 score involvements.
Beautiful.
Jai Clark was excellent. He was so good. Like I know his stat line. I know we've already watched Jai Clark's bowls tonight, but I'm going to watch him again. 15 touches, 6 marks, 6 tackles, 2 goal assists. To go with what did you say? Equal team high score involvements, 3 tackles inside 50. He's transformed. Think about the chat at the start of the year and even midway through last year. It was like Clark's probably cooked at the club. Like there was a lot of that sentiment, particularly if you're not watching the VFL and seeing like the development that's happening, which is fine. Like not everyone has time to be a sicko and watch the VFL, but I was worried for him entering the year of like what could he piece it together, and so happy for him. I'm so happy for him. Johnny, wash Sean Manners' balls. Wash them.
It was a classic Shawnee Manor game. This game, everything just he touched turned to gold. A few 7 goal assist involvements. A few of those would have been goal assists as well. Some absolutely brilliant passes inside 50 in a row. Those 2 in the third quarter was just like sensational. So yeah, it was good to see him bounce back after his fairly off night against St Kilda. Then he's backed it up with this game and last week's game as well. If he played, did he play last week? I believe he did, but yeah,
yeah, he did.
Yeah, just brilliant couple of weeks. The Shawnee Manor that we've all ended up loving after he came from the VFL rugby team to the Cats, and he's going to be an absolute superstar and a hugely important player for the finals. I think he's one of those players that can set a tone for the Cats fairly early on.
I didn't think this was Mana's best game, decision-making wise. There were a couple times he got caught holding the ball where he probably should have given something up. But I loved his effort as well. You can't fault anyone's effort tonight.
No.
Nah, and Sean, I think this is something I really love about, not just Shawnee Manor, but there's a number of guys that set that tone of blokes who have taken the long way round, like Tom Stewart, Tom Atkins, Jack Martin are some names that come to mind who, they've done hard yards, whether it's like in the rehab room, like Jack Martin has, or at multiple clubs. But then guys like Stewie and Atkins who toiled it out, local footy at the VFL, Shawnee Manor, racking up great seasons, in Ovens and Murray footy and then at Werribee. I just think that drives this AFL team so much. And it's not just in terms of the on-field drive, but it's also, I guess it's the overused word like culture, but I still go back to that interview, the culture. I still go back to that interview of Tom Atkins, I think it was in 2022, where he said, it was 2022 or 2023, where he was like, every time I get in the team, basically, I think about the VFL guys and the blokes that miss out for me to play. And I really think that flows through in guys like Sean Manor and others. I just think I love the relationship between, our AFL and VFL crew. It's great.
Yeah. I think it was after Port Adelaide after Port Adelaide game in 22 when he said that. And I think we have more guys that have gone the long, like as you said, the long way round than anyone else, because we're prepared to take the risk on these guys. Like Jack Martin didn't have his best game tonight. Looked like he should. Looked like he was short of a gallop and short of touch. Right, but still, for 10 minutes he looked okay in the forward line. Kicked the goal.
It's probably not enough.
Very important goal.
Probably not enough to keep him in the side because of the guys that are going to come back. But he did what he had to do to get us over the line.
Mm.
Right? There are blokes there. Like you look at Ollie Wilshire. Like who every other club is never going to pick an Ollie Wilshire out of Bowen Heads twos, are they? But the guy was playing reserves at Bowen Heads. Bowen Heads weren't even Bowen Heads ones weren't even that good when he was there. They won a flag the following year, but when he was in the twos, they weren't great. And Wellesley just picks out a kid and says, "Okay, you've got AFL traits. Go and play."
Yeah.
And
it took a while for him to get there, but that's the beauty of the Cats is we're not a North Melbourne, we're not a Essendon, not a Richmond.
Thank God.
Where you got to rush these young guys in. We've got the time to go VFL, get your body right, get your skills right.
Yeah.
We'll bring you in for a couple of games, let you get a taste of it to know what you need to work on. And then full credit to them, they all go back and work so hard on their skills to be ready for AFL. And then when they're back in, you get Ollie Wiltshires, you get your Zach Guthrie's, Dolly Dempsey's, Shawnee Manor, Wilson Humphreys.
Yeah. When you look at you guys were talking about washing Jai Clark. Jai Clark when he first came in, Jai Clark reminded me of David Clark, right? Junior, got it shitloads in the VFL, couldn't kick it over a jam tin, but got bucket loads of it, and was never able to be taught play somewhere else, right? Yeah. And I thought it's going to be another kid we've gone and got pick 7, and he's got all these traits, but we don't have the development to teach him, right? Back then we probably didn't with the late years of Gary Ayres and those years. Now you have those. You take the time to develop these kids instead of just putting them on the scrap heap, if you want to call it that.
I think really you just appreciate.
You go, Ethan. Go.
I just really appreciate the way that Clark has been able to kind of reset himself and change his perspective to understand maybe I'm not, the chosen one. I'm not going to be a superstar, but he's just embraced his role and kind of figured out who he's capable of being. And some of the expectations he was saddled with at the start were probably unrealistic and unfair to him. And as he continues to kind of embrace this role and figure out who he is, it's really come to the team's advantage.
Yeah, and it's no surprise, is it, that, when you heard about, people he was working close with at the club, it was Tom Atkins. And so, and this is that value we talk about, like with the blokes we were just talking about. It's literally a Tom Atkins, a Tom Stewart, or whoever being able to say to a Jai Clark as they develop, hey, like, you're going to have these down days. You're going to have these tough times. There is a pathway. I think more and more, and maybe I've got a skewed perception because we're at the Cats, but maybe 20 years ago, you wouldn't have been given as much rope as a young player coming in. But the way the Cats have to develop their list, and maybe the way, I've heard a few people who know, more about, what's the saying? They'll forget more about footy than I'll know in my life. Like, say that that's so much more of a system game now. And so you can sort of get players in roles. They don't have to do everything well. You just need them to do a few things really well and be solid. And I think that's what Jai Clark is learning. And I think he would learn that off players like Atkins, Tom Atkins seems to me, from the outside, a player who is deeply aware of his own strengths and his own weaknesses. You very rarely see Tom Atkins try something that's outside of his skill set, and you almost always see him execute the things within his skill set really well. And I think that's a lesson Tanner Bruin has learned this year. Don't overcomplicate it. Just do the things that come easily within your skill set. You don't have to do it all on your own. Tanner Bruin's good at winning the footy, then get it off quickly to someone else. Don't think your way through 4 or 5 options. Just get it and give it. So yeah, I think Clark is developing, really well. Spartacus says, other clubs, these pricks are cheating, as Geelong pick Polkinghorne at number 44. I think it was Shadu who said earlier, I think Polkinghorne was actually lifted with the picks from the Bailey Smith trade. We can keep getting away with this.
You got dud clubs that want to trade up one pick to get Nate Caddy so we can get Conor O'Sullivan and Sean Manor. Like, no worries. Then you've got mobs that go, well, they've got no picks. We'll give them 44. We'll go get Polkinghorne and Mollier and Mattify Forbes and all these blokes that play in the twos that are almost ready to play. And then you drag Lawson Humphries at pick 80.
Yeah, I was going to say, his pick 63. Who are you going to get with that? Oh, just one of the best intercepting defenders of the game that can kick on.
Anyone could. Any club can find a Sean Manor. There's the difference is we actually do it.
Yeah,
we actually draft him
and develop them right.
And there's a luxury in, and this is why it's always important to me when, I suppose, in the past we've had seasons where it's like, we probably don't have the top end talent. Maybe it's time to bottom out. The beauty of bottoming out, of not bottoming out, is that even if you go, maybe our ceiling, and I'll be honest, at the moment, I think that, gun to my head, I'd probably go, our season probably ends in the prelim. I don't know if we've got the top end or not. I'm interested to see. But the thing that happens when you have a bunch of seasons in prelims and you keep winning is that you keep being attractive to guys who want to leave their clubs and come to you because you're the finishing piece. You're that last thing. It's like college football recruiting. It's important not to have, the shit seasons, because then you start to the value of your club, the value of the destination starts to degrade. Who doesn't want to come to the Cats? Like, it's why winning is important. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey,
Isaac Smith.
You're the finishing piece,
Zach
Bailey.
Tui.
You're the finishing piece, Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah. You guys were talking about us.
Close enough. If you get yourself close enough and get yourself enough bites at the apple, maybe at some point one of those teams that isn't really one of the best finds a way to win a couple at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a cool, and then you end up on top.
Well, you guys were talking about us being the New England Patriots, right? What are they without? What were they before Brady? And why were they a destination? Like, nobody wants to go and play in New England unless you're playing with Tom Brady, right? Nobody wants to go to Geelong unless you're playing with Jeremy Cameron, you're playing with Bailey Smith, and you're playing with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? There's a guy with the initials ZB that might just want to turn his head and come down the freeway in about 8 weeks' time.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly.
Could be
problem is,
an
how do we
TG
get
Cats as well?
Well, that's where I think we've got a really. I think
Oh, it should be TG, sorry,
no,
not TB. Jesus Christ.
we've got great list management, and I think too, we're going to have some retirements. We're going to have some guys who are probably taking a bit less, and I know people are cynical about that, and they say, oh, they're not just they're taking less on the books and more often, blah blah blah. If your club's not finding opportunities for your player to, maximize their earning potential in other ways, then your club probably isn't an AFL club, and they're probably not one of the powerhouse local league clubs. Like, everyone does this. Like, wasn't it the Dacos boys who are starting their health and wellness clubs? Like, we're thinking, that's not, connections through Collingwood Footy Club that help make that happen. Like, this is part of the business. It's part of the business, and that's where I think Geelong did really well to capitalize on. It didn't just become, hey, we won 3 flags in 5 years or whatever it was. They found a way to turn that into a lot more. They found a way to turn themselves into a destination. There's some comments here. I just want to flick through a few of them. Where are we going to go here? Shadu says, genuinely don't know who we delist this year. I've got a few names for you, but I'll leave them for the VFL pod. Not that I take any joy in it, but there's a couple of guys I reckon who will come to the end of their run at the Cats. They'll be unlucky, and they'll probably get games elsewhere. Second Kin says, I just love the fact Holmes and Cameron are not in the side. Yeah, and we can rest Dangerfield. Python says, guys, I think it's a little weird that we're washing other grown men's bowls. I'm sorry, but I don't swing that way. That's okay. As Bob Catter says, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities. And you are.
Some
and it's
people
nothing
wash feet,
sexual.
some people wash balls.
That's right. We're washing balls. That's right. It's a sacred task, and that's what we're doing tonight. Okra O'Keefe, Gary 6307 says Bose is a better player than Brad Close. I think they're very different roles, is what I would say. I think very, very different. All right, here's one.
I think Bose is a VFL best and fairest.
Yeah, it's sort of like, again, for me, Bose fits in that Jack Martin mold, probably Jack Martin plus, in that he's best 30. He's best 30 to 35. I don't think he's best 23 every given week. Flash Movie Trivia asks, I'm going to come to you here first, Brad, then John, then Ethan. I want your answer on this one. Flash says either Butters or Harley Reid will put their hand up to come here. Who would you choose? If you could just pick, and we're not going to get into the compensation required, if you could just have one of them on your list next year, Butters or Reid?
Harley.
What do you take?
Harley Reid every day of the week. Harley Reid every day of the week. I love Zach Butters, but Harley Reid every day of the week. Can you imagine Harley Reid and Bailey Smith?
Yeah, I'm going Harley Reid.
The headline. Harley Reid. Ethan?
I mean, if we're talking just within the vacuum of next year, I'll take Butters, but Harley's 4 years younger. So if we're looking big picture, you got to give some preference there. But I have such a high opinion of Butters this year, especially. I mean, he's the only one who really successfully broke the Mullen tag. And I will say, Dacos, within getting tagged tonight, he played very well. That's probably the best game Dacos has played against us. And that was no fault of O'Shea's. That was a really good battle between those two.
Yeah.
Dacos
still had to work extremely hard to get
Loves a cheapy Dacos at the end of the game, though.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of comments, but we've also got the man himself back from the highway. I think I can add him into the studio, or no, he needs a minute. He needs a minute. All right, no worries.
All right. Well,
I think you can. Paul can probably add himself
anyway.
in, I think. All right, Johnny, sleep well.
Get to bed before work.
Dream of washing bowls and have a good day at work. Catch you later, Johnny.
Will do. Cheers. Go Cats.
So yeah. Where are we going here? Someone said we got to clear that Tyson Stengel contract. It could really make a difference. That is absolutely true. There could be, depending on how all that plays out, there could be a bunch of extra loot to use on players here.
Just on that.
Yeah, go for it.
Collingwood have announced that they are going to pay this year's salary out for Bobby Hill, and that's it. That's the deal they made to the AFL. If we make the same deal with Stengel having 3 years left to go after this, there'll be money galore.
Just a lazy 2.1 million worth.
Hello, Paul.
Sorry, that was a nice little segue for me. As a, yeah, I mean, he's 700K a year, right? So times 3 years, it's a lot of money available.
Zach Butters' money.
Yeah, Tyson Stengel's 3 years can cover Zach Butters' 1. Or Naz.
Are you a Butters boy, Paul?
I'm
Would you
a Butters
take
boy.
Butters over Reid?
If we can find a way to get Butters in, yeah. I've got no issues with Harley, of course, but I'm thinking a bit more short term and what he can offer right now, and he addresses a few things, and I just look at the youth that's coming through, and I think Jake knows this probably better than all of us because he spends so much time looking at them through the twos. The green shoots there. I'm delighted with the direction they're heading in, and I just see so many faces popping up. So a lot of my thinking is around, okay, what can we do now to top up and take us that extra step closer to the flag in the absolute short term. Harley Reid wouldn't hurt. Not by absolutely wouldn't hurt, but I think Zach gives us more in the short term.
I mean,
I think
I'd
they
be
need to
very
find a
happy
way
to have either one.
I think on the VFL and the kids there, I'd still love for them to find a way to get Jack Costello on the AFL list next year. I know that statistically he's dropped off a little bit in the second half, but this is a dude who's been playing Ovens and Murray seniors footy, since a pretty young age. And then to jump up to VFL and play, he's played every game. He has just been picked game after game. It was always going to wear him down a bit in the end, but I feel like he would fit our system so well. And I've got to be honest, there's probably I'd love to have him on our list over a couple of other guys, a couple of other young mids who have probably just been churning away at it for 3 or 4 years. I just see Costello as being just a higher ceiling and something that fits our system more. He's just such a hard two-way runner, great quick hands. He's tough. I think he could come in and develop into something. But anyway, that's just a random VFL side note.
No, but I mean, there's opportunities there through rookie lists and those sorts of things to get blokes like that in. So, and we've done a good job of that over the years.
Yeah. And there's the Lavington pathway too for Jack Costello, Shawnee Manor's old club.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Costello just has fell away because of the amount of footy that he's played, or is it because they might have got in his ear and said, "Hey, just slow down a bit,
just drop your value a bit"?
Yeah, just slow down a bit.
And it probably doesn't help too that as Bose comes into the side and has 45 touches a game, it does. There's only so many disposals to go around, so I guess the Costello's role gets changed a bit, but. Yeah, I'm a bit of a Jack Costello stan. And the other one I'll just say is Jesse Malor. I don't think he plays this year, but
Rockstar.
2027, oh my God, he's so
Love
special.
him.
He's just so special.
I was bashing that drum last year in his draft year, and I'm stoked with how it's all worked out. Thought we'd pick him up in the national draft, not the rookie draft, but I don't care.
I've been watching him since he was 15 at West, and he's just been that player. He's just that guy. Just has star written all over him. Star written all over him. Right? If he played at any other club, he'd have played 10 games already.
Doesn't he make you think of Ollie Dempsey? I know they're not the same type of player, but just that guy who you go, oh, this guy's going to be an AFL player. Just super talented.
He does things as a VFL player that you go, that's going to translate the same sort of thing. Like the first time I saw Ollie Dempsey play, I was like, this guy won't be in this. This guy will not be in the VFL for long. Right? And he wasn't. He was within how many games? Not many. I don't reckon.
It wasn't many.
And then Mallard does the same thing. He's got tricks Like, we haven't seen him. We've only seen what he can do when he gets the ball, right? It's what he does off ball, but he's got tricks off ball.
And Malor too, I think something I love about him is his toughness. Like on the weekend, we've talked about it on the pod a couple of times already. He got absolutely smoked. Like had to go off and have a concussion test and that sort of thing. Comes back on, immediately lays a tackle, plays on from the holding the ball and kicks a goal from 50. Like I just think that's a massive part of his game is his toughness, but also like he was drafted as a forward/mid hybrid, and we've really only seen the forward stuff. I think as he gets fitter and adds to his endurance, I think we'll see him start playing a bit more midfield stuff, and then you've just got a truly unique player. Paul, I might give you the sharp hand pass, and I will punch on out of here. I'll get some sleep before work, but yeah, it was lovely to jump in on post.
You're a ripper. It's been good to have you in the hosting chair. I'm here to take my throne back though. No.
Absolutely. Enjoy. I've warmed it up for you.
Jake,
awesome.
before
Thanks,
you
mate.
go.
Oh, Jake, before you go.
If we're going to be the Patriots, hopefully Chris Scott doesn't go coach like a juniors team after and date someone a third of his age. Because I don't know if you kept up with what Bill Belichick's on, but it ain't good.
Chris Scott will go coach in the Ammos or something like that. And yeah, there'll just be controversy. Yeah, absolutely. Can see that. All right. Catch you guys.
See you, mate.
See ya.
All right. There we go. So how are we all? What's been the general sentiment so far? Because I haven't been tuning in while I've been driving back. So what are we feeling about tonight's game?
I don't think there's much. I don't think there's much.
Jake and grind.
I don't think there's much you can say, Paul. I think it's just got to. They all put it on. There was just. It was a class game by a team that was a class above.
Yeah.
They were. I don't know what it looked like at the ground because I didn't go.
Yeah.
That's the first Collingwood game we've missed for about a decade. But I don't know what it looked like at the ground, but on TV it just looked like we ran harder, we worked harder. They didn't want to run. It got to a point in the second quarter, it looked like they didn't want to run, Collingwood.
My take
first quarter and a half.
Go for it, Ethan.
That first quarter and a half was a combination, like I said, of us at our best and them at their absolute worst.
Yeah, and then my take from that point on, and for I won't quite go as far as say a quarter and a half, but maybe a quarter worth. The remainder of the second and probably the first half of the third, it just flipped. Like they got one or two, and then all of a sudden they had a bit of spark, and we were a bit flat-footed in that time. And it kind of gave me, and I've used the description a little bit in the past, but it felt like we were playing with our food a little bit. We were screwing around with the ball a bit more in that kind of what I will forever dub that launch zone, that 60 to 70 meters out sort of range. We weren't getting the ball in the hands of the right people. They were dumping it in long. It was the structure kind of fell away a little bit. We weren't lairizing, but we weren't going in for the kill like we could have and should have. That was probably my issue in that, and then we started to course correct it. I think it really began with there was a few plays, and I think I saw something pop up in the Discord during the game, but there was a few really important defensive plays from Mark O'Connor in particular.
Yep.
In that third quarter, and that there was
huge.
where he body lined it. He was floating in, taking in defensive marks. And there was a noticeable difference. A few of the other boys just stood a bit taller in that moment. You just felt, oh, hang on, here we go. Like it was that spark they needed just to get the engine going again.
He was a reassuring, stabilizing force in those moments.
Yeah. So that for me, that was a bit of a turning point to get us back on track again. Don't mind me. What else did we see? What else has been discussed, etc. As I continue to catch myself up.
I mentioned already, but Ollie Wiltshire, just his impact beyond the number of official disposals he got was huge.
Yep.
He just attacks the game so well and gets after it. It's it's not unlike actually McCreary for Collingwood, where Wiltshire had 12 touches tonight, felt like a lot more, where it's just he's super opportunistic, and the guys around he makes the guys around him better and just creates a lot of action.
He hits those contests, and I think it's similar to what we've been seeing from like they're playing very different roles, but it's similar to what Jai Clark's been doing since he's returned, where he's because they don't have the size, they don't have the physical mass, so they are just going in there hammer and tong. And I can't, and it might have just been the positioning from the ground and not recognizing it. I didn't see that big bone cruncher from Jai tonight, but I still saw those attempts to just pile in there at full speed. Certainly saw it from Ollie Wiltshire. Different sort of thing. He wasn't necessarily going to bone crunch and lay a tackle, but he was just hitting that ball as fast as he could so that people would fall off him as a result. And he broke through contests and he was able to dish the ball off, or he was able to slap the ball onto his boot and kick a phenomenal goal. Like there was, because of the nature of the roles of the two guys, what we're looking to achieve from those moments is different. But the way they're going at it is exactly what I want to see for blokes who are slightly undersized relative to their opponents. Jai Clark, I firmly believe all he needs to do is just bulk up that little bit more, and he's set because he's now playing the way we want him to. He's looking more and more comfortable at the level, and I just want him to be able to shrug a few people off.
I'm just like I was saying, he has embraced this role after being anointed as the next big thing, after being saddled with some really unrealistic and unfair expectations. And again, just the ability to refocus and figure out, okay, maybe I'm not the next Joel Selwood, but I can be a productive player in this new role.
Sekomkin says, what about Myers and Close bulking up? I don't think they're playing that sort of role. And Brad Close is never going to bulk up.
Brad was very quiet tonight. He's one that I could see if we've got to make spots next week, well, maybe we manage someone like Blitzovs. Next week would be probably an opportune time to do that. Not that you should manage too many guys against Essendon. GWS showed us that. But if we're going to if we don't manage one of the veterans, we're going to have to find spots for both Danger and De Koning.
Big fella just on the topic of Close. Big fella's just said, I can see Close being part of a possible Butters trade. That is exactly the conversation I was having with my dad as we were driving home from the game tonight. I think, and I did catch, obviously some Butters talk when I first arrived. Was there discussion about what the transaction would look like or what would it need to look like? Was there any of that at all?
Not
or was
really.
It just more this Butters versus Reed sort of comparison?
It was more just that.
It was a question from the guys to ask that. Who would you pick, Harley or Butters, if you had to choose one? Who would you pick? Not a matter of what's the transaction going to look like, because we all know that the transaction for Butters is going to look
huge,
very, 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 very difficult. If he decides to come this way.
Yeah, and I think, his decision, I think, is purely around, especially since, there's the talk that he's going to speak to the Cats imminently. I think his decision's going to be based around, which club can actually get this done? Because I don't want to strike out. I don't want to have a Zach Merritt situation where I declare that I want to go, and then I'm stuck.
Do you genuinely think we can get it done without breaking the entire list and the future of the future draft picks? Can we get it done? I
think it might rely on some of those. Sorry, go for it.
Sorry, mate. Even if it was this year's first, next year's first, and the year after, and Brad Close, I still think Port would want more.
Might take some complexity in getting another team involved.
Yeah, so I think the Jack Bowes situation and the potential interest in Essendon from Essendon might play a part in that, because I don't think we'll want play if there's truth to that, and Jack Bowes is interested in going to Essendon, and Essendon are interested in him, and we're interested in getting rid of Jack Bowes, then I don't know what would you feel like we'd get for someone like Jack Bowes?
Future third.
I'd be confident we get more than that.
You reckon? From
like-
yeah, but
I'd
a
like
future
to think
third
he's
from
still a-
Essendon might be in the 30s.
I kind of had the feeling like he'd be a 20s.
I mean, I think you just want to. I think it would all just be a matter of balancing your books, basically, and making sure to be able to get what you want out of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just feeling like with Bose, if you can, and you know, I feel like he's worth a 20s, but then maybe Geelong can kind of price something out that's a bit earlier again. Maybe because Essendon's there's talk about Ridley and other players that want out, and they're going to get picks, presumably some stuff back in those sorts of transactions.
or maybe it's Bose. Maybe it's Bose and a fourth for a second back. I don't know.
Yeah, those sorts of ones like Bose and then a later pick that then pushes us just a little bit higher, and you can bundle that into a transaction along with our current first, because I think the hesitancy from Port, and understandably so, with whichever club that they transact with, is the idea of a future pick with the next couple of years coming of Tasmania just decimating that draft. It probably isn't the most appealing of prospects. You're going to want to try and fill up on picks for this draft if you can.
Well, they're going to lose
And
them
maybe
anyway
players.
when they draft Dougie Cochran at the top of the draft. They're going to lose them anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So-
yeah, a lot of those get gobbled up. So it's their chance to recoup some in the process. They've got enough now, right? Like I think they've got enough points already.
Yeah, as long as they don't finish any higher, they've got enough points to do it. They're like Carlton; they're in the same boat with Walker. They just
won't
can't
want to go
finish
into
any
deficit.
higher.
Yeah, and they won't want to go into deficit because then it eats away at other stuff that they might get back through other transactions. So,
Yeah, I think the AFL changed the deficit rules too. I think you can only go in like 100 points in deficit or some random number.
yeah, it's something small. You're right.
So that you can't go into 1,000-point deficit, and it shoves you down the draft order in 2 years' time.
But who cares? Because you got your player. Yeah,
Exactly right.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's some picks that come back from a Bose, some picks that might come back from other transactions we make, then a Brad Close, and I don't I don't mind a Brad Close in that scenario because we were talking about Jesse Mellor before. There's the next one coming through. You've got Wiltshire, you've got Gryan, you've got sorry, I was about to say Stengel. That's not
Stengel.
But you've got this crop of amazing small to mid-sized forwards there that are doing amazing things already. Some that are already playing in the seniors, and others that are still building up to that opportunity. That I'm not too concerned if we lose one in that. Now, I'm very selective about it. Gryan Myers is untouchable, as I'm sure Ethan will agree. He is completely untouchable. But Brad Close isn't, and he's a South Australian, so it's easy to go. All right, let's can we make this work? Big fella says Chuck Buse in that deal. They need defenders. I mean, maybe Jed Buse is looking for opportunity.
There is a big 20-year-old South Australian that's not exactly signed up, is he? Did they re-sign the Polk? The big dragon? Did we re-sign him or not?
Yes, didn't we?
Because I'd hurry up and re-sign him because I reckon Port would have him if you said to
we re-signed him in the week of his debut.
Sweet. There's a win.
He signed and then it was announced that he was getting his debut like a day later. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
That's fine. Well,
it was about thinking 3 or 4 that we signed on the same day, if I remember.
Yeah, because the big South Australian forward for I wouldn't give him up now.
Jacob Mollier, or you still talking about the Dragon?
Talking about the Dragon, I'd never give him up, mate. He's going to be a star.
It was back on July 14th. That's when they announced that Mitch Edwards had signed a 2-year contract extension, while Jay Polkinghorne, Lenny Hoffman, Killian Burke, and Nick Driscoll have all recommitted for the 2027 season. And Polk is obviously going to add to that now with
one on that list.
He's already delivering. So that was a fantastic announcement that day, because that is a lot of that. Lenny Hoffman is the one that Tom Stewart has already deemed fit to be his heir. Killian Burke, we know that Nigel Lappin is beaming about. Nick Driscoll's been showing some great signs as well, and obviously Mitch Edwards is already doing, and Jay Polkinghorne are doing fantastic things to begin with. So that was a great little announcement, that one.
Thought Driscoll was really good in the VFL last week too, like really good.
I actually missed that game, so
no, go back if you get a chance, Paul. Go back and watch it. him, and he does nice things. He's a good player. Whether he can go to the next level, he's just doing nice stuff in the VFL.
Yep. I flagged Mollier a moment ago, and I presume it's Jake speaking on behalf of the chaps here in the chat, saying Jacob Mollier, on the other hand, hasn't extended yet. Also a South Australian lad. I mean, I don't think he'll go anywhere. And especially, I don't think the Cats would want him to go anywhere, because in the event that, I mean, obviously Polk has come in and done an amazing job, but I would always want him to be that Jack Gunston third tall forward option.
Third banana, yeah.
But in the event that we lost a Shannon Neal or someone like that, I think we're instantly looking at Jacob Mollier, because we don't have this depth of options as full forwards available to us. Now, obviously he's not ready. Mollier is not ready, but we're already at that point. Like, I think we need to retain him, and we probably need to go to the draft and try and grab another key forward in there. We obviously, we've got a Geelong Falcons prospect there who did his ACL at the very beginning of the year, who, as a result, I think is going to slide. The name is it's completely abandoned me when I need it. I'm going to have to bring it up now because it's going to drive me wild. But if we can pick him up, okay, there's some great options for us as well. I think that's a particular part of the ground that we need to top up in a smidge, and retaining Mollier is a really good start there, because Jez has only got so long, and then if injury happens, you got problems.
You have to be ready for life after Jez. I know we've seen it in three games.
Jack Pickett, was who I was trying to think of.
Jack Pickett, yeah. If we've seen it in 3 games, but are we ready for the pre or for the post Jeremy Cameron era? I mean, I know it's not going to end. It's probably not going to end for another 2 years at least.
Not if Toby's coming to town. He'll be wanting to hang out with his best mate.
Toby coming to town. Oh mate, I'd love Toby, but we're not a retirement home in the forward line.
No, we don't need to be. He's still very dynamic. He's doing great. Hell, he ripped us a new one once again earlier this year. The other week, sorry. I mean, I think he's going to be a valuable asset, and I think he keeps Jezza on the list a little bit longer too. And yeah, Jake's just gone with Jack Pickett. That's the one I'm keeping a real close eye on. He's still featuring in the Phantom drafts, despite the fact that he hasn't played a game since March.
Deal, didn't it?
He was fancy.
If we're replacing
early days before the knee, I should say.
Mm. But if we're replacing the Brad Close with Toby Green, it's not actually a bad interchange, is it?
We're trading up. We're trading up. Not to mention freeing up the Tyson Stengel money too.
Freeing up a bucket load of salary cap to get a certain other to get in the Zach Butters or whoever it is decides to come. Whether it's Zach Merritt that comes.
Yeah.
Zach Merritt was perfect for us.
Yeah, I've never been super wild about Zach Merritt when there was other options on the table. But if Zach Merritt ended up being the one coming through the door, that's still a huge asset for us, no doubt about it.
Massive, and he wouldn't cost us. He wouldn't cost as much as Butters.
Yeah. Big fella asked, how's Ugle-Hagen's brother looking? I mean, I think he's still a year or two off draft year, so we'll watch this space. Hopefully he learns some lessons from his brother, though.
Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he stays away from his brother.
Right lessons. Sorry, I mean the right lessons. What not to do. What not to do.
Oh. Because isn't there, haven't we got a couple of academy guys or father-sons as well? We've got a couple of academy guys, like is it Steinford's kid? Carl Steinford's kid is in the academy.
I think he's in that. And obviously
he got injured.
Father-son in there. We've still got Jagger Mooney as a potential option available to us. We've also still got. Damn it! He was an NGA prospect for us last year, and he did his knee, and we didn't pick him up.
The ruckman. I know who you're talking about, the ruckman.
I think if I remember, he was of a Sudanese background, which was the connection there to the NGA. I'm going to see if I can find it, the name, because that's going to also bother me. Ben Wronged It. Ben Wronged It was the one from last year. He's a potential option for us. He was very highly fancied again before that knee went down. There's lots of options for us to play with there. It's a good problem to have. Ethan, do you get to see much of the what's kind of going on through the 18s and all those sorts of things?
No, not really. That's something I don't have anywhere near as much exposure to.
That's fair. Where are we? But cycling back to tonight, we say team effort. The only player I'm going to smack properly around here, like even Brad Close, for the fact that his numbers are a little bit lower, whatever, there was still some really handy tap-ons that I liked on the night. Have we discussed Jack Martin in this, though?
How many easy marks did he drop?
And
he did kick a really important stabilizing goal.
He did.
But he was
off
the
pace.
Not up to standard.
Yeah. He was fumbly. He was dropping the marks, like you said. He kicked that one goal, and then for the next few minutes afterwards, that spark was there, and suddenly he was one touching everything. I'm like, oh, hang on, there we go. He's felt like it sparked him, and then he just went missing again. So he didn't even get his 10 to 15 minutes where he just suddenly lights it up. He has that one opportunity, takes it, and then suddenly explodes for a bit. We didn't even have that. So
yeah, I would think that he might go back to the twos next week, just to get some touch more than anything.
Especially if Danger comes back.
Well, even if he doesn't, like
you would think De Koning gets back in.
De Koning would, De Koning would come back, and like if Jack Martin doesn't have his touch, he's not a footballer. Like he's not going to go and bury himself like Tom Atkins, or he's not going to go and run himself into the deck. Even if he's not touching it, if he doesn't have his touch, he's no good.
Speaking of Tom Atkins, I just thought he really set the tone tonight. This reminded me of, at least that first quarter reminded me of how he was playing last year.
Yeah, his last. I think we spoke about it last week. His last week was saying his previous 3 games, and now it's his previous 4 games. It's been that you can see that hunger, that level is there. And I don't think he was lacking it before, but I think the way it's manifesting now is really positive, and you see some of the other boys getting around him and lifting. He's read the room, I think, with the circumstance around some of the other players being out, and he's gone, all right, I need to step up and drag a few people with me, and he's doing it. It's been fantastic.
He's a major leader, whether or not he's officially part of the leadership group or not. I've used the term before, like the most captain that's not a captain.
Yep, he's the on-field leader, right?
Yeah.
The inspiring soldier. Especially in that first quarter. Again, I think he went a little bit quiet in the same time that the rest of the boys went quiet and Collingwood lifted, but then he also started to turn the screws again in that last quarter.
I should probably get rolling in a minute, but 3-2-1s. Polished turd I'll give to Dacos over McStay for playing pretty well within the confines of the tag. Again, really good battle between those two. Honorable mentions. I wrote down a bunch of them that aren't going to crack the votes but deserve a lot of credit. Atkins, Neal, O'Connor, Smith, Wiltshire. Yeah, I love the way, even if his efficiency was rated low tonight, Bailey Smith's just ability to. This was the most invested he's been defensively and physically at the contest. I think going up against someone that he clearly thinks very highly of and has a good personal relationship with, in Nick Dacos, I think he reached a new level intensity-wise tonight without the ball.
Yeah.
We know what he can do with it. It was the work he did without it tonight that I thought was on a much higher level than usual. Blitz was quietly good. Ryan was quietly good. I thought first half especially, Ryan was really big. We got him involved to the outside more. But I'll give the 1 to Tom Stewart, who was kind of a stabilizing force in the back all night. 2, Ollie Henry. Only complains that he didn't bust out the cattier celebration after the last one that kind of helped put the game away. I thought that would have been an appropriate time for it.
It's because that kick was absolutely disgusting, and he couldn't claim responsibility for that being a goal. That was dumb luck that tumbled through. I let out an audible groan when that ball hit his feet at the ground, and then I just couldn't believe it as I watched it skittle on through.
He had a couple that kind of made it through by accident. He had that wobbler in the one that barely snuck inside the post, and then. But I thought
that was a big. Really he bellied that snapshot. That was ugly too. Good point.
And best on ground, I've got to go Ollie Dempsey, who again he just loves playing against these guys. He loves big games at the G. He loves big moments. 6 score involvements, 5 intercepts, nearly half his possessions contested. He was massive.
That's good stuff. Yeah, it was. I'd agree with Dempsey.
These are the moments he thrives in.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with those. And shout out to someone like a Warple who was there and thereabouts and competed hard throughout the night as well. Like we continue to talk about him as being someone who's not in that 23 if we have everyone available, but that he is a fantastic option if we need someone to step up. And he continued like these weeks where he's been in, he's gone in, he's battled, he knows where he's at, I think, and that he's right on that fringe and he is fighting to the death to hold on to that spot. And that's the fight you want. 6 tackles on the night, 10 clearances. He was huge.
If he can just be that physical presence, by the way. Kind of like one of the terms I like to use. Yeah, if he can just be like poor man's or lower middle class man's Josh Dunkley.
I'll take that.
Second kin who might win the award for being most negative and cynical person here, which is hard to do. McStay's been in ripping form for about a month now. He's been awesome.
And Sully had a very uncharacteristically poor night tonight.
I thought
he still did some good things.
Good.
He still did some great things, but he just got lost a couple times.
McStay had a couple moments, got a couple tough ones, but we held Membry goalless, and Membry had been playing really well.
Yeah. No, you're right about
again, they butchered a few.
Yeah.
They butchered a few going forward. But they had been in really good form. They had won 6 straight. Were a couple of those against poor teams? Yeah, but they had beaten. Look, they just
Adelaide last week.
Away from the Crows last week at Adelaide.
And they're like I was looking through their fixture now. Like they've got a couple tough ones in this next little block. I was just going, okay, how do we overtake Melbourne? But it turns out that, and obviously we can do that if Freo beats them. Freo has to come to Melbourne to beat them next week. But if they can get that job done, we'll skip over Melbourne presumably. But Adelaide are now very vulnerable as well. It doesn't have to be Melbourne necessarily. They've got some tough ones in that run home as well. Obviously, they've got a softball with Essendon this week, but beyond that, a few tough ones in there.
And I do hope, by the way, Collingwood, it would be really funny if they go out to Perth and lose to the Eagles, but I really hope they beat Hawthorn the following week, who they have just matched up horribly with.
Yep.
I thought it was interesting. This will be my parting thing. Last time against Collingwood, we got so many contests to ground level and crumbed and beat them there. This time it was a lot of just get in front of them and mark one-on-one, both offensively and defensively. We just got good body position.
Yeah. Big fella, I presume, is calling me out on Sully. Don't worry. It was an uncharacteristic bad one. We all have him. That's to your exact point.
I thought Sully was still definitely a positive. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah. Not seeing anything else there. Was there anyone else, Ethan, before you bounced that you wanted to quickly shout out?
No, just
or Or, of course, as usual, make sure to plug your stuff before you disappear too.
Yes, Americans watching the footy, Spotify has been a real pain with the actual syndication lately, but I promise we do put out content. Also, that's 4 in a row over Collingwood. I don't know if any Pies fans can count that high, but that's a pretty impressive number against a good side.
That's it. Well, mate, as always, thank you for coming on board. It's been good to chat, albeit in my case, briefly.
Great way to start the round. Huge.
It's nice to not even start the weekend and already have the 4 points in your pocket.
Yep. All right. See you guys around. Good chatting. Go Cats.
See you, mate. Chat soon.
See you, mate.
Ben's popped in to say talk about Jack Martin. Clearly doesn't watch the stuff. We don't need to talk about Jack Martin any further. And we know how much Ben loves Jack Martin.
Oh.
Look, I was like, my dad and I were going through the list as I was driving us home tonight and talking through the options. And obviously Jack Martin was the subject of conversation, especially because he was pretty putrid tonight. And he, I don't know if it's actually been signed yet, but he triggered something in his contract based on the number of games played. So he'll be around until at least the end of next year. But I do wonder, like, if he continues the way he currently is, the current trajectory, I don't see him getting many opportunities next year. I see the likes of your Mellors and those sorts of guys who are already building nicely in the seconds. They'll start to claim some of these spots, and then
it's what you want. You want someone like Jack Martin to be break glass in case of emergency, right? You want him to be this year's Buse or this year's Stanley, right? Break in case of emergency, and we're not in that. We're not deep enough into the list yet.
No, we don't
to break that glass.
That's right.
But yeah, well, he was putrid tonight, and I'll put it on. He was putrid. But I read some. I might have been listening to K Rock. I mean, don't take K Rock with a pinch of salt.
Well, they're enthusiasts. So,
yes,
but so are we.
Unless I'm listening to Zach Tui on K Rock, I'm not listening to either of them.
Jeez, he's good. Listen, Zach Tui. He's so fucking funny.
He's quite dry with what he is on radio, and he basically said, I don't know if he said, or the K Rock boys said, I bet you Martins stinks it up tonight. And that's exactly what he did. Like Ben Castanilla said, he's going to stink it up, guaranteed. And like
bang
2 minutes into the go.
No, that's what I mean. They'll bang on the money.
Yeah, that's it. 2 minutes into the game, we're like, oh shit, here we go. He's going to stink it up. But
I did think he was going to pull himself out of it when he kicked that first goal, and then all of a sudden there was about 3 or 4 contests back to back where he was one touch. He got wrapped up in those contests, but like he was finding it properly and like, okay, here we go.
He's back.
He's back. Yeah. But then being wrapped up in those contests just seems like it just shut that momentum down.
Yeah. Speaking of those sort of forward half contests, Ollie Wilshere 1-on-1 in those contests is stronger than you think. He's slippery customer. Just he's the sort of guy that you think, he's a kid without a man's body.
Yeah.
When the bloke gets a man's body,
he'll be. How old is Ollie now? Because I know, like he wasn't.
He'd be late. He'd be still early 20s though. Still early 20s though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I feel like he would be. Yeah. I'm quickly trying to find him on the website. So
still early 20.
I've just gone blank on his number. What number is he? Where's he?
21.
That's it. Thank you. He's only 23. So we've got a lot of time with Ollie Wilshere left.
So, and the rest of the competition's going, where are we pulling these blokes from? Like I was saying to the boys before, we just keep pulling guys out of the VFL that are ready to play. They're ready to play league footy. It's not.
He wasn't even that. Wasn't he just playing for Grovedale or something?
Oh, he was playing for Bowen Heads seconds.
Bowen, that's right.
Bowen Heads twos he was playing, and as I said to the boys, they weren't even that good. He was just a standout. But it's just a matter of, Wellesley seems to find these guys, and we have the ability to leave them in the twos for 2 years, 3 years, whatever. And then when they're ready to come in, they're just ready. It's not, give them 2 games or 3 games to get their feet on the ground or their feet under the desk, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
It's if you're in the side, you're in the side, and they're ready to go.
That's the luxury of Geelong being in the position that they've been as a top side for all these years, is that you can spend a bit of time in the seconds and just let it cook, get your craft right, and then come in when you're ready. Now, Jay Polkinghorne, as one of our most recent examples, obviously, I would imagine the Cats would have probably liked to have let him just play the remainder of this season out in the seconds and not have to step up. But he'd done enough where they could sit back and go, we need him. He's ready.
Yeah.
And look at what he's done.
I think, I think this is a high bar to set for him, but I think he's a Charlie Curnow. Like he may be able to get to that level. The guy, as soon as he sorts out his goal kicking, well, his goal kicking was good tonight, but as soon as he sorts out his goal kicking on the big stage, he'd be sweet.
He is that player that will touch it 5 or 6 times and have 3 shots on goal.
Yeah. Yep.
And to your point, then if he starts to work on that kicking, or if he improves that kicking further, anything's possible. I still think of him more, and I said it earlier, I think of him more as that Gunston sort of mold. Yeah. Maybe a bit more aerial, probably got a few more key forward kind of characteristics. Yeah. But he's still in that which is crazy to say a 190 centimeter bloke is mid-sized forward. But he's kind of that, he plays that mid-sized forward role. And I love this idea that, whether it's, casting our eye forward a few years from now, this post-Jezza era, and assuming we don't go and bring someone in from another club for a second, we're going, okay, it's Shannon Neal and it's Jacob Moliere, it's Shannon Neal and Jack Pickett, or Shannon Neal, whoever it happens to be. Yeah. And Jay Polkinghorne is that third tall. I'm like, that's a dangerous prospect. Yeah,
it's Shannon Neal and somebody, and Polk and Ollie Henry and Wilshire and Myers.
Yeah.
All right. The rest of them, as far as, you got Manor running through there, you got, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you're getting 2 goals a game out of guys that aren't playing, you're getting 3 goals a game out of Ollie Dempsey. He's playing on the wing. You get how many wingmen are getting 3 goals a game? Like even David King said it. If you watch the replay when you get a chance to, Paul, David King actually said, how is this guy not in the All-Australian team? Like after he kicked the second goal in the first quarter, he's like, this guy should be in the All-Australian team.
Yeah.
He's that much better than everybody else on the wing.
And the problem with that is, and they've had past Australian selected members mention it. They go, we're not really picking wingmen. We keep picking. So I really hope that Ollie has done such an incredible job this season that they can go, we have got a top tier wingman right here under our nose. Pick him. They did that with Cluggage the other year, where he was actually playing off the wing, and they rewarded that. That should be Ollie Dempsey this year.
I think we've got another Ollie Dempsey coming as well, mate. I think when Harley Barker gets ready.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The other wing might be the same.
And that's gonna be crazy because he's obviously
gonna be crazy.
Ollie Dempsey's got those basketball skills and that creativity, and Harley's got that. And hopefully the ACL doesn't derail it too much, but he's got that speed. He's got that running capacity, even greater than Ollie's. And Ollie just runs and runs and runs.
And he can change as long as the ACL holds up, he can change direction very, very quickly. He'll step up like very, very quickly.
And you pair that with a Max Holmes and a Bailey Smith, and who knows, Hunter Holmes in there as well. You go, holy shit! No, these blokes will it'll be the old GWS.
Tsunami
thing. They'll be gone before you know it. It's a team of road runners.
Well, you have to run the 100 in under 10.
Meep. Boom, they're gone. That's it.
You know, we get who's that? Who's the bloke who ran 980 at the Commonwealth Games the other
Oh,
night?
yes, the other day, yeah.
Lockie Kennedy. Well, they'll be chasing after him.
Bring him in. I see Horacio's popped in the background. Let's bring him in. He's punching a dart at the moment, but there he is. Yes, the very dramatic smoke straight on the screen. Love it.
Oh no, that's not smoke. I'm outside. It's cold.
Oh,
that's not smoke at all. That's bloody like 4 degrees up here.
fair enough.
Yeah,
You were at the game tonight, weren't you?
Yeah, I just pulled in. I'm just having a dart before I go inside.
Nice. How do you feel about it?
Oh, it was great. In the end, it was a very frustrating.
The second and the third.
Oh no, it was frustrating. I didn't ever really genuinely think we were going to lose the game, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's already been discussed plenty this evening about the free kick count this evening, but like I
don't know if it did come up before I took over. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
24/7. Nah, it didn't come up, Paul.
Okay.
It should have, but it hasn't.
I recorded my reaction while you went, like in that brief window before I jumped in the stream, and I didn't miss. Didn't miss it.
I don't think Scotty missed either in the press conference. He went. He apparently said something.
Say that before.
Yeah, apparently said something about the lack of 50-50s that went our way, or something of that nature.
Yeah,
that was very exactly diplomatic. He'll be saying it without saying it in that typical Chris Scott way.
Yeah, but then behind closed doors, he'd be fuming,
saying everything but saying nothing.
I mean, I was with a mate watching the game, and I just when it got to the end there, and the Collingwood supporters in front of me were even like, "Look at this," and it was like 24/7, and I said to him, I said, has there ever, we've been to hundreds of games of footy together, right? I said, how many of those games do you reckon we got 7 free kicks for the whole game? Like, how is that even possible?
Yeah, it's almost impossible to have that few.
I don't know if you can look. I don't know if you can look it up, Paul. But the whether we actually got a free kick in the second half.
We got one.
I think we might have got one. That's it.
The Bronx cheers came up.
Yes, the Bronx
when we
cheers
finally got one. But yeah, I think it was when it was for the push in the marking contest.
Yeah,
it was like they were thinking about letting it go, and I'm like, how is that any different to what the one they paid against Polk in the first quarter or the second quarter, whatever it was? It's like it's exactly the same thing, and But I mean, I'll tell you, being at the game, it was a case of. They're getting some the crowd's going nuts. Oh, let's pay a free kick.
There was a few of those red wine lines.
There they are.
Iconic.
But yeah, it was obvious. Like I said, even some of the Collingwood supporters that were sitting around, we were just laughing.
Apparently, Scotty said it's not the 24, it's the 7 that confused him. So, yeah, exactly as we were saying a moment ago. Take us to the curtains, son.
But, yeah, as I say, I was getting pretty pissed off, but because I thought, look, it just felt like every time we just, in that second half when we were starting to get a run on again, they'd get a free kick in a prime spot on the ground that would result in a goal. They're just going to keep them in it, aren't they?
And I could deal with those if it was going both ways.
Right.
But the number of times where the Pies players got spun around in a tackle and then dished it off and off they went. Whereas there were occasions where we'd barely have the ball in our hands. Someone piles on top and boom, it's over. Like,
Yeah,
free
there
kick,
was-
I couldn't believe the inconsistency in some of them.
Yeah, well, like you
Big
know,
fella says 13-2 in the second half.
Jesus Christ.
that's unbelievable. Like, and I
And
mean,
one of them may well have also been an out on the full. Like, keep that in mind. It might have been an out on the full too.
yeah, yeah. Or
Oh, there
like,
you go.
yeah,
Vince just said it there.
yeah,
One of those threes was
and there was at least 2 occasions I could think of where you know, in the forward line where they dragged it in and they were hatching it and didn't get pinged, whereas they were red hot on us in their forward line.
like there's one in the last quarter that if you see it, Paul, you'll laugh. They had, I think it was in our forward line, and it was either Quain or one of their defenders had grabbed it in the forward pocket and literally sat over it, dropped it on the ground, and just went after getting tackled and just let it get knocked out. And there's like nothing. And there's like 4 Geelong blokes going, it's holding the ball. Like you can hear it in the umpire mics. It's holding the ball, and he just says play on.
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
And
it's like how do you just drop the ball on the floor?
Yeah, one that bothered me, and it was one that went against. It was specifically one that went against us, and it was just the umpire not. Look, I could see where the error came from, but the umpire not just being mindful of the game and even just forgetting the rules. There was one where Shannon Neal got pinged for holding the ball. It was it was on the half forward flank. He had one arm pinned, and
The one where he took it out the ruck.
The one where he took it out the ruck. Yeah,
The one where he took it out the ruck
out of his hand. Like, and they call it dropping the ball. I'm like, sorry, he didn't drop the ball. His teammate stole the ball.
Yeah.
That's there's no penalty there. He didn't throw it to him.
Was that the one that Atkins was that the one that Atkins was like? There was one in the third quarter. No, in the last quarter when they had a run on that Atkins was going absolutely mental about. That ended up being that short kick. It was on the Warren wing, on the Warren half forward flank.
Yeah,
Warren side half forward flank.
It would have been like the third because we were going to the left of
the Collingwood. Yeah, it was a Collingwood, and there was the short kick that was the short kick in that went about 6 meters.
Oh,
And Atkins is standing there going, mate, it went 6 meters. Like, literally.
He took one step to the right and he was on the mark.
The mowing lines on the ground are right there. It couldn't be any clearer. That went about 7 meters.
When you're on the mark for one contest, you take a step to the right and now you're on the mark to the other one. The ball didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on. We got through it.
I said umpire 22, boys. I'm not a fan. Is it Williamson or Nicholson or one of those? Not a fan. He does the same thing when he has Geelong down here at Geelong. He's almost anti-Geelong.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, it's like I always say though. You know, good teams win in spite of shit umpiring.
And that's what we did.
That's it.
So
Geelong's basically VFL forward line one. Yep.
I'm just taking a look at the overalls for the year. We're no longer the team with the greatest ratio of frees for to against, so they can jam up their ass too now. They want to whinge about it. The Saints are commanding that one now.
3 kicks and killed it. Yep, right.
We've started balancing out our frees against, and we have been overtaken now on the frees for as well. Whether that factors in tonight or not, I'm looking at AFL tables. I don't know if they've pulled tonight's data in there, but that'll obviously.
No, that won't be until Monday. Till Monday morning.
Until the rest of the round is done. But solid enough though. Anyway.
But I guarantee that we don't get anything against Essendon next week. It'll be 25 to Essendon and about 5 to us because they don't want us to win by 15 goals.
Yeah, I was going to say, they don't want a 200 point margin, which they may well get this week against Adelaide because Adelaide is going to fill their boots against them.
Yes.
So we need to make sure we do the same because
Tex Walker and the rest of them will.
15 goals between their key forwards this weekend, I reckon. Between Tex, between Riley Tilthorpe and Fogarty.
Is it? It's not. Is it under the
Oh, wait,
lid?
is Fogarty out? Is Fogarty even?
Yeah. No, Fogarty's suspended.
Yeah, that's right. Well, okay, between Tex and Tilthorpe, they'll kick 15.
Oh.
No, there'll be a third tall little bob up and kick a few in there. I don't know.
Yeah. Dan Curtin or
Rochelle will be a chance for 4 or 5.
That's fair.
yeah, they'll get some cheapies. Like Rankin will get 4 or 5 cheapies.
Ben says Nick Dacos is no George Stevens. Damn straight.
I hope O'Sheen Mullen gets the kudos he deserves. That's all I got to say.
Look, I would say that.
What's the discussion been on that so far tonight?
Well, they interviewed him on Fox just after the game. He looked like he couldn't blow out a candle. Like, looked like he hadn't been running after him all night.
Was that Osh?
That's Osh, yeah.
Super
Osh is
fresh.
like, I could have kept going. Osh is like, I'm ready to go again. Like he said to Dunstall, because Dunstall said, oh, you couldn't blow out a candle. And he goes, yeah, I could go again. Like, you know. But I thought he was well,
Oh, we lost your connection for a sec there, Brad.
Oops, sorry, guys.
Go again, the connection just dipped for a moment.
This is what it looked like.
You got me back?
You're back now.
Yeah, well, mate, Dacos gets a lot of cheapies. Like, he gets a lot of good footy. He's a good footballer. He's a gun. He's a superstar. But he gets a lot of cheap footy.
But to be fair, so did and I think Gary Ablett prime Gary Ablett along. So did he. Like that, because you utilise the assets they've got. I think about when the Pies got that first goal, and like I did see it pop up in the Discord. Like everyone's gone, Osh has squashed him. Dacos has done nothing. Like, hang on a second, and it was right under my eyes. Like, I watched him lace out his brother from 50 meters across the ground, which then just went boom, 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 goal.
Mate, he is a freak show, but he gets a lot of cheap stuff in the back line.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's a lot of backward stuff. There's a lot of sideways stuff. There's a lot of forehand balls. There's a lot of run pass for the 1, 2, 3. And you look at it, like he had 5 possessions on Bailey Smith in 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you look, and you go, well, and yeah, well, there you go. You've gone. Well, he hasn't got 30 on Osh because he's got 5 on. He's got 5 on Bailey Smith. He's got 5 on Warple. He's got
a few on Atkins.
He's got 10 on Atkins. Right?
I would like to see that. Like, and you often see it on the telecast, that minute by minute split. Here's the matchups. Here's
the breakdown. Yeah, the breakdown. But it's interesting. It's interesting watching Osh at stoppage is quite interesting. Because even if he's on Dacos, he'll hand over to Warple for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
He'll hand over to Warple for 10 seconds, or he'll hand over to Bailey Smith for 10 seconds. And then the minute that Nick gets going, he's on his back.
Yeah.
Like literally if you watch it in the third quarter when they're coming, and
I know the exact play you're talking about.
Nick gets this big, gets that centre clearance. Osh is on his back.
Yep.
Right? And they're going, that's why. And again, David King, who never gives Geelong any credit whatsoever.
Hates us.
Right? Hates us, has hated us for 4 decades. Right? He actually said, that's why Mullen is the best tagger in the comp, because he's on his back. He's on him all the time. Yeah. You can give him, Nick Dacos is likely to break you speed-wise, or break 95% of the competition speed-wise, because he's that quick and he's that good. But Osh is as quick.
Yeah.
He gives him a 5 meter gap, and that gap is closed within 2 seconds or 3 seconds.
And just projecting forward for Osh, setting aside the Nick Dacos matchup tonight, like he had about half as many disposals as Nick Dacos, but had the same number of goal assists. He was only 1 fewer in terms of score involvements. As he continues to develop that craft and gets better and better at reading the ball himself and winning the ball himself, and he's improved a lot in that space in the last 12 months. but there's a lot more learning and development still to come as he continues to nail that look out. Like he's, I mean, we all love, Lingy for the work he did back in the day, because not only would he squash his opponent and maybe physically, because he's a thicker lad, but also he'd accumulate the ball and get you the other way. And if Osh can develop that part of it, but have the speed that Lingy certainly never had, this could be something else.
He needs to, and look, he'll love playing Essendon on the weekend because he won't have to do a job, right?
I mean, maybe Zach Merritt, maybe.
Yeah, if you want Zach Merritt to get 50 and then come to Geelong, then leave him alone. Don't trust it. Don't put him on him. But
put him on him, mate. If you come to this place, you've got to work. This is what it's
I'd
like.
leave Osh. I'd leave Osh off him and just let him have 3 weeks of doing nothing, because in the first final he's going to have to go and play on, whoever we play.
Yep.
He's going to have to go and play on, Brayshaw or one of these guys, or Sarong or somebody from Freo or
someone like that,
or Heaney or somebody from Sydney. Give him 3 weeks off, let him have a break, and then let him get back to it. Mullen will be 10 times better than Lingy. That's a big call.
I've just cycled back to this one here, and Ethan called him the most negative person in the world before.
Dacos reminds me of Gary
Lamb Jr. in the process. My God.
Cheap.
Gaz did get him around the back, but it's the same as Nick Dacos. It's because they're a weapon with the ball in hand. So you get them the cheap one so they can utilize their assets. Not everyone needs to be the one at the pit of the contest.
Well,
Gaz did develop that as well. He did that at Gold Coast.
Gaz had to get a lot of cheapies at the Gold Coast. He had to, otherwise they were never going to score.
He also just buried himself at the bottom of it, and he just had blokes hanging off him.
Yeah, that's
old mate from St Kilda, big blonde mop. I've forgotten his name.
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, Clint Jones from St Kilda.
Yeah.
Played on the 09 Granny.
09 Granny, and then same deal when he went over to Gold Coast. He just had him hanging off him left, right, and centre. He just fought his way through it.
Yeah, that's a discussion for another night. But if Gazza had never
Gaz v Dacos,
if Gaz had never left, how many flags would we have won?
All of them.
6, not 3, 6.
Quite possibly.
There's no Hawthorn triple if he's playing for Geelong.
Well, we don't lose that 2013 prelim, that's for sure.
Correct.
The curse doesn't break there.
But anyway, I'm gonna get off, boys. It's now 5 to 1 in the morning. I got to get up and go to work in 6 hours.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same. So it's been awesome to have you on board. I think this is the first time that we've actually gotten to speak. So it's been great to have you on board. And
thanks, mate.
Doing it again nice and soon.
We'll do it again soon, boys. Thanks, guys.
Mate, have a good one.
See ya.
So, Horatio, what are some of your big takeaways from the game tonight? And let's drop into our normal layout now that I'm back.
Well, yeah, I mean, the main thing was there was a bit of discussion in the Discord pre-game about Lee Montagna saying that he thought we were the second best side in it still, and I said, look, I think he's right. I had to listen to it, and he gave his reasoning, and I thought, yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing that maybe we've forgotten, is because we've dropped some games that
we should,
to teams that we possibly shouldn't have, that we've forgotten that our record against the better teams has been exceptional. So, and a couple
only second to Freo, right?
I think we've actually got a better record than Freo.
No,
it
couldn't be better than
equal to Freo, and better than everybody else. But we're level with them, and then it's everyone else.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, the thing is, I think we've lost 2, they've lost 2. Both of those games were by point.
Yeah.
I
lost to each other. So
yeah, I mean, I made the comment that I was like, I think he's right, but tonight is the night that we've got to go out and, we've sort of got somehow managed, in spite of this, to get ourselves in a position where, we've got to win every game if we want to be in any position to seriously challenge. And
so to that point, Big Fella also asked, he says, do our next 3 games become detrimental to our first week of finals? My gut feel is no, and that's because we've done this before now. We've done the West Coast game at the end where we've beaten them by 100 points. We've done it to Richmond. We've done, and I mean, I called it back in the preseason when we looked at the fixture and we saw these last 3 and here we go. The competition's going to lose their shit at us. But Geelong, they've been and done this before. They know exactly what to do in this circumstance. So I'm not at all concerned about that. They will just use this opportunity, just build and build and build. And, Jezza comes back for the first week of finals. I think that's almost a lock at this point, just the way he's talking already. Max is a different story. I'm a bit more concerned there, but no, I think we're going to build very nicely into that, and then we're just going to hit the ground running.
Well, I mean, I think, pretty much, I think really what you're saying is just, when the whips are cracking, we know what's required. And, and so whatever happens between now and when the final starts, I mean, look, with that sort of thing, I always think back to, I go back to 2009. We won the preseason comp that year, and I didn't even go. I was going every game. I didn't even bother. I was over to Moses. He's like, "Why aren't you at the game?" I said, "I don't care about this Mickey Mouse game, right?" I said, "The only thing I'm worried about is making amends for that bullshit we served up on grand final day last year." And I'm telling you, so that was when we played St Kilda in that epic game, middle of the year, and I think we went 13, we went 4-5, 5-4 or something for the rest of the year, and everyone was going, we've fallen off and we're doing this and we're doing that. I'm like, mate, we've done the hard work. The only thing that matters this year is that we're cherry ripe when September starts.
When it matters, yeah.
And I just remember waking up that Saturday when we played Footscray in our first final. I just remember waking up. It was beautiful, beautiful spring day, start of September. I looked out the window, the smell of springs in the air, and I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for all year. I looked at the odds for the game, and they were we were outsiders.
We were outsiders.
And I filed my entire betting account. And at that point in time, I'd won a fair bit. I think, I had a ton of money, like a couple of $1,000, something like that, in my betting account from cleaning up on the Ashes that year. And I think it was that year. But yeah, I'd had some money sitting there for a while, and I'm just like, I unloaded the whole lot of it on us just straight up to win. I was like, that's just an easy double up, because I just walked in the ground. It's like, I've been waiting for this all year. And I'm telling you, if this is how I feel, I know that's what the boys are feeling. And when we went out there and slammed on 5 goals in 10 minutes to start the game and then just coasted for the rest of the way, I was like, yeah, we've learned from last year. We know what we need to do here. And so I just think in these situations, it's like when we know how to get ourselves, if things go wrong, we know how to get ourselves back into a decent position. And the last 3 weeks is just, I think it's just, you just go out there and enjoy your footy and give yourself a chance to maybe, sort of freshen up a little bit to some degree, manage a few minutes and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think that has any effect on what we're going to do come finals time, because I think, and I mean, look, we got embarrassed in the last quarter in the granny last year. So, a few of the boys, come September will want to
extract some revenge.
They'll be a little bit disappointed that we're not in a better position to strike. But, who knows how this new system's how it's gonna work and what sort of effect it's gonna have. But I do think that finishing in that wild card section, I think you're pretty much cooked if you're down there. Yeah. So, I think this puts we had to get the job done tonight, and we did. I just think come September, we'll be super sharp.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. Python's also jumped in and said stream's going till 5 a.m. No chance, mate. My fingers feel like they're ready to break off already.
I'm doing tuck shop at the kids' school tomorrow, so
I've got to get through a day of meetings, and there's a photo from the last time we had a whole staff PD day was the first day back of this term, and there's a photo that a few of my former colleagues spotted, hit social media. The schools go, look at all their staff and what they're doing, and if you look in the background, you see old mate me just starting to lose it against the wall, just starting to drift.
It was just like, that was what probably after a 2:30 a.m. marathon.
So I'm not looking to do that. And I already had a 1:31 last night that actually resulted in me falling asleep on the couch, waking up at 6 a.m. this morning, going, "Holy shit!" So
So
I'm not looking to do that twice. But one thing that actually you and I can both discuss that I don't know everyone who was on the stream before I arrived, but that I presume we're the only ones that can discuss this one. The pre-show stuff, the changes to the schedule. What did you make of all that? The light show, all that stuff.
All I said to my mate is like, this is why I don't come every week anymore, because I just can't handle all this pre-game shit. Like I'm a play the resis, bring the banners out, run through it, and start the goddamn game. I just could not give a rat's ass about it. It's like I said, who comes for this? Who do they really think that people are gonna let's go. The pre-game show is going to, the players are going to, it's going to be awesome,
keep in mind, and the one sentiment I've seen is, it's all been around who come, like that attitude, and the who comes for this and why are they doing it. They're not doing it for that reason. They are just filling the time with this stuff. It is all around like the medical stuff that they've, and Chris has just jumped in saying it's like what the NRL does. The NRL does their theatrics beforehand because they are filling in the time. The medicos at Collingwood actually drove this through the lens of not an entertainment thing. I have no doubt they are seeing dollars and cents possibilities. But it is all around the medical thing and the preparedness thing, and we want them just boom out there and play. We get them freshened up the way we want, and off we go. And Geelong was a willing participant. And that's how we got to where we got to tonight. But so there is a purity to where it all came from to begin with, or a genuine
that does
first approach. But then the way it manifested, I didn't like that the toss was done in some bunker somewhere, and they're going, it's all
did you see Tom Stewart? Did you see his reaction? God, it was funny. What the hell's going on here? He had no idea what the hell was happening.
Didn't know where he was pointing and which way was actually left and right. It was great.
That was hilarious.
I liked the light show, but then I didn't like the presentation of the match ball. Like the umpire comes out and collects it and then just goes back down the race again. I'm like, well, okay, what's the point in that? What else didn't I like? There was something else. Oh, I didn't like the complete absence of the club songs. Like, I don't know why, and just like when Geelong plays at GMHBA, like they have the, we've got bass pumping left, right, and center, and it's a real vibe beforehand. But then as the players come out and they burst through that banner, boom, Geelong song, and that wasn't the case for either team tonight. Like, I couldn't believe they didn't do that. Like that was a step too far for me. Have the beats. That was fine. I can never remember the name of that song that we play pre-game, but awesome vibe. Love that song. But when those players hit the banner, I expect to hear my Geelong theme song. Now, don't get me wrong. When I got to the end of the night, Cats get the win. I'm like, Pie supporters didn't hear their song all night. Sucks shit. Like, it gave me a little pause to chuckle there. But I don't want that in the pregame. I want the songs being played.
Yeah,
as the clubs enter the arena.
I thought the whole thing was just yeah. Look, as I said to my mate, look, who cares what I think? I'm just an old fart who lives in the past. Nobody cares what I think.
No, but I think there's a middle ground, right? Like there reasons that got us to this point around the medical. Great, fine, awesome. If you think that's for the best, go for it. And then if you want to fill it in with some entertainment, no worries. But there's got to be a balance. And the match ball thing was rubbish. The toss was stupid. The lack of club theme songs once they burst through the banner, ridiculous. Like they've got to, like those are the things that have got to be addressed. I actually liked the light show. That was cool.
Well,
did they give out like an MCC member? They don't give a shit about me. And I looked around and like, yeah, there's no sparkling lights in my part of the ground. But certainly around the ground, I was seeing all these sparkling, and it wasn't people taking flashes on their phone because it was too synchronized. Were they handing out like wristbands or something? Was there any of that?
I've got no idea. I got no idea.
It was too.
No, well, I was there pretty early.
Choreographed.
I'm not sure what time you got there, but yeah, I mean, I got there about an hour before the start of the game.
I was about 45 before.
But
usually, I was in the MCC, and they don't give a shit about us. So
yeah,
I got a free seat, so fuck you. You don't get any lights from me.
Yeah, I mean, know, with
your caviar, cockhead.
Yeah, you know, with this stuff that like if they want, they'll, if they want full crowd involvement, they'll be handing, like when we were doing that.
Like whiteout.
What were those bloody stupid tubes that they would give? They give out it. They wanted you to bang them together and all that sort of crap. I'm like,
they keep trying.
Look, I'm just there to see a game of footy. I don't give a crap about the rest of it. Like, honestly.
Big fella says, bring back Meatloaf on the Batmobile.
That was Angry Anderson.
Yeah, he's mixed his things up.
He's mixed his disastrous pre-game grand final entertainment.
And also Meatloaf is dead.
Are we going to dig up Al Jolson? Are we going to dig up Al Jolson next? Are we? Oh yes, he's dead and rather pungent. The rest of that night, something I'd like to forget. We won't be digging up Meatloaf.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, I said my bit while I was at the ground, but it just
needs refinement. I think they can refine that. They can get that to something that works.
You know what I think? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like I understand. I understand. I'm not going to get in the medical side of things. I'm very cynical about that sort of stuff, and have been for a long, long time. And it's not just because I'm getting old. I think a lot of it's just a bunch of piss and wind and an excuse to
push some new idea and initiative. Yeah, to have your name against something.
Well, yeah, that. But I also think that there's a fair bit of money to be fleeced out of all of this. So people need to make aside from people needing to make themselves feel important and intelligent, they also like to feel the jingle jangle of,
additional coin,
gold in their pocket. So, yeah, I mean, I just think it's if they need to do that and you want to do something around that, fine. But the rest of it, I don't see why. And I mean, look, and I'll tell you what. Like we had one when I was on with Ben on helping out with your show. He was talking about he hates the banners. He hates the banners and wants to get rid of the banners.
Oh, Ben.
And I said, oh, look, no, I love the banners. The banners are great.
Oh, and no, a bit of crepe paper is going to get someone in the eye.
The bloody Collingwood banner was a KFC ad.
Oh, was it? I couldn't see that from my side.
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
I could see the text on one side, but okay, right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you would have been no. The other side was a KFC ad. I'm like, nah, get rid of the banners, get rid of them. This is like, I don't mind if it's like, when we do the occasional Ford promotion, when it's an anniversary of our,
partnership,
partnership with them. I don't mind that every once in a while. And I don't even mind, we have that, teams have been doing the, you have like your sponsor thing on the edges that you sort of fill, that you attach the banner to, which is what we had. I could sort of live with that. But when your banner that your team is actually going to run through is just a giant advert.
Especially the side that's facing the majority of the audience. Like majority of the crowd.
There's enough numbers. There's enough advertising plastered all over everything these days. The banners, like, I don't want to say they should be sacred, so to speak, but it's like, can we have a space where, it's nice to have a space that's not been bought by bloody some corporation,
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Not everything needs to be an ad space.
Like I bitch on the game day thread and the hate watch thread all the time about the tiny little numbers they have now because they've got to fit all the sponsors on and shit like that. It's like, they're using kids' numbers. They use kids' numbers for God's sake. Because they've got to make sure the giant sponsors
get their time in the spotlight.
Oh, and the thing is, like, I didn't mind. I always thought for all of those years, like, the patch on the front and the, whoever your sponsor is down below the number, I'm like, that looks all right. I could, I thought that's you get the best of both worlds. It's not, it's kind of a bit like in English soccer where, the sponsor on the front of the jumper and like when rugby league started doing it in the 80s.
I mean, we see it on the one-day international cricket things where you just see, the VB logo bang in the middle of it, but then everything else was your green and gold and the logo and all that sort of stuff. You'd move on. Yeah,
I mean, I liked cricket better when it was just whites. I like the colored clothing as well, but it's like now that's like, yeah, we'll get some sponsors on there. Now even the test strip is just covered in sponsors. It's like, yeah, I know I know everybody needs money and, stuff like that. But yeah, I just, it's a topic for another discussion, I guess, because it's getting on a bit and all that.
Yeah,
but
we better cycle back to the game in a moment and then celebrate our newest our newest sponsor. I don't know. I wish I had a graphic that I could just toss up there just to navigate through that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cyril Cook, sponsors of the Chaps, not us.
Oh, really? Oh, I think we got the big A, did we?
We were just a bit selective.
Okay.
And we were anyway, that's a whole bunch of business admin that it's not my place to talk about it, but I can, at any point, I can still just drop the ad. And for nostalgia's sake,
the Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril.
No, I haven't played it in like 12 months.
Rose emojis.
Yes, drop the rose emojis.
Rose emojis. But yeah, they were like, getting back to the actual game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was that.
I think. No, I mean, I look. Yeah, aside from things that have already been mentioned thus far, I thought we made them, for a quarter and a half, we made them look exceedingly ordinary. They were always going to work their way back into it, and I thought ultimately, in spite of them having bloody 4 extra guys out there, we weathered the storm and we were going away with it. So, so you can't ask much more than that. And, and I'd say, for where they're at as a football side, I think they play, they play a pretty honest brand of footy, and they're not going to beat themselves. So, and another thing that I thought was a big positive is, and it's usually the case, I guess, when you win. Although I don't know, maybe not in recent weeks, but I thought tonight we got a really good even team performance. So it would probably be easier to name the guys that didn't play well than to name all the ones that did, because I thought
there's 2, maybe 3 of them in my eyes, and that's Jack Martin, Brad Close, and he didn't play a bad game, but it was certainly a down game, Connor O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
He just got lost. He just got lost when he found his 101. When he found his 101s and he was in the contest properly, no issues. But he just got lost in transit on a few occasions, and that allowed McStay to get a bit of space and clunk a few. But he'll learn from that. He's ticked so many boxes this year. He's allowed to have one that's slightly off and have it now rather than a few weeks from now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he'll have the next 3 weeks to.
White Strength with a great comment here too, by the way. We should ask Spotlight to sponsor our curtain segment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll go and have a word with him.
Yeah. We got this little Geelong show online, and I come in as a guest, and everyone really likes my blinds. Any chance you want to sponsor them or me or both?
Yeah, we can. I might have to go and have a word with them. I've got to go and get some new curtain rods actually.
Here, sit and watch this 3-hour stream and look for the moment when I'm on, and then look at the comment section where everyone starts talking about my blinds. This is why you want to be part of this.
Brought to you by Spotlight, although I didn't get to the Spotlight, but I can certainly.
Hatush is here. Some chaos at 20 past 20. Oh, if we said curtains, we summoned him.
He must have been listening. He must have.
He's been just lurking.
But yeah, I thought we got, and I thought it was some of the, so-called lesser lights that had big nights tonight. Mark O'Connor heading that list.
Yeah. Oh, he was, especially in that third term when we needed to step up. He was awesome. Tusha said he's on FaceTime with the missus. He's on FaceTime with the missus whilst tuning into our chat at the same time. She's actually muted and he's just listening to us. Hence the catching onto the curtains. And I'm also going to have a crack at you there, Sparkus. Sorry, Paul, for I earned enough for turning up late. I was at the game. Blame it on Ben. He didn't want to step up and do it. Blame it all on Ben. That
he's been
deserves some heat after his little ball jokes in the Paul James Show thread on Discord today.
He's been getting some grief for staying up too late.
Oh, is he?
Oh yeah. I think he's he's been getting grief.
Past your bedtime, Ben.
He needs a man cave.
Get your beauty sleep.
But yeah,
sorry. Let's keep cycling back to the game. We continue to get derailed, bullying people or talking about the blinds.
I think it's just getting to that time of the night. Who's everyone else been bringing up as the big
the highlights?
The better players for the evening.
I mean, Ollie Dempsey's been a constant for the time that I've been in. I've heard Axe get mentioned a few times, especially some of the work he did early in the game. Ollie Henry's been brought up a bit. Of course, Jay Polkinghorne with his 3 goals, and Ollie Wiltshire, despite not necessarily accumulating a lot, the way he was attacking the ball, Clack for the same sorts of reasons came up. I was kind of throwing a bit of love Warple's way again. Like he's that fringe player, but he continues to come in. And he led the ground in clearances. He battled hard. He got 24 disposals. He was laying his tackles, doing lots of good things there.
Yeah, did a lot of the hard stuff in close tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was one of there. Yeah,
right, Spartacus just elaborated a bit there. Said, "Paul, fine, you went. That's fine, but the poor old chaps didn't have time for a shave. Look more rugged than Max Rook." Yeah, you would have missed that. Jake was hosting before I arrived.
I would see that. I was right up. I was behind the Geelong cheer squad.
Yeah, okay.
I was sitting on the top deck right above them. What was the reaction around you when Ollie Henry kicked that goal in the last quarter?
The ugly mung of a thing. I audibly groaned when I saw it come off the boot, and then just sat there jaw agape as the ball just tumbled in for a goal.
So you reckon he shanked it too?
Oh, he absolutely shanked it. No doubt about it. And actually, Dad listens to a lot of K-Rock. So when I was driving him back, we flicked over to K-Rock just at the very end there, and they were going through the highlights of it. And that's exactly how they described it in the live commentary as well. So, Tom Stewart's also another one's come up as being a highlight tonight too.
So do you reckon he was trying to pop it over so that Scratcher could run onto it?
Blowed if I know. No, I think he wanted to chisel it and just did not stick it whatsoever. And to be fair, he shanked a few throughout the game, especially in that first half. So it just kind of fit with the way. I mean, obviously there was that snap goal from 20 meters out, almost directly in front, that he still turned and he bellied it and it just floated through barely. He just did not have a good kicking night tonight, and yet despite that managed to kick 3 goals too. So I'll take it. And
none of his shanks were even then still weren't the worst shanks of the night.
No.
Mitch's helicopter when he had that shot, that was an absolute helicopter.
I was delighted when that ball, and you could see it, like Scratcher launched it to him. I'm sure you saw it as well. Like the boys, some of the boys out there, they're all fists up in the air, excited for him. They're like, "This is it. This is going to be it." And then he just, it was an absolute mung.
Oh, we were laughing. I was like, that Stephen Kernahan would have been proud of that one.
Except with the number of goals Sticks kicked, there's probably a fair few of those helicopter mungs that still went through, and not the case tonight for me.
Oh no! You go and watch Steve Kernahan. The man kicked 700 goals, and then however many he kicked, and every single one of them was a helicopter. Make no mistake about it. That was just the way he kicked the ball.
And it's a shame, like Mitch Edwards, and there was some plays tonight where like he was on the run. There was that one where he hit Ollie Henry in the forward line.
He was excellent
on
tonight.
The run. Like the way he palmed that ball in his left and then brought it back, guided it down with his right, straight onto that foot, and from 45 meters out, just barely elevated above the ground and just hit Ollie Henry. I was like, that's beautiful. And then he gets that set shot. I'm like, oh my God. Just take it, like just step off the mark and run and have the shot. It'll work far better for you because he kicks it really well when he's on the run.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I thought he was fantastic tonight. He's really, I think from where he was a couple of months ago, like, I mean, look, even in more couple of weeks ago against Rowan Marshall, it's like he's got he's still got a bit of work. I like how he's coming on in the actual ruck contests, but he's still got a bit of work to do with his around the ground stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he was fantastic in that department tonight.
And I loved his game sense. Like in that last quarter when, the Pies had to go chips in and they were all in on the play that we've seen. I certainly saw it highlighted a bit this week which is they'll set up Nick Dacos and whoever his opponent happens to be on the opposite side of the umpire. They clear the space down the defensive side, and he sweeps straight through there. He's got another defensive mid right there just in case, but he just sweeps through and boom, he's off. And they were clearly aware of that, and Mitch wasn't giving it any chance for that to be possible, and he was just spiking the ball forward and just making sure it got nowhere near that space, which then allowed the likes of Baz to swing around and just charge onto it, who was already on the offensive side for us. It was fantastic play from him late, just really smart football.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just, yeah, maybe so I was talking about, it's like, yeah, it's just the way that he's developed over the course of this year, and considering, you know, at the end of last year, if you'd said that he would be our number one ruckman for basically the entire year, most of us would have said you're crazy. So,
yeah.
You know, to see him sort of clearly really starting to grow in confidence and, you know, have that belief that he could perform at the level, fantastic.
It's awesome.
And then, you know, we've got, you know, well, we know we've got Toby Conway, but I mean, you know, looking at how Poggy's playing in the twos, it's like, man, you know, we thought the cupboard was bare, and now it's like, man, we might have one or two left over.
Yeah, it's good. And to that point, Big Fella says this is why we don't need to shop for a ruck. Get a preseason into Edwards, and next year will be a breakout. And Spartacus also highlights that we have DeConing to come back to, which, you know, we can use defensively or as a ruckman too. So we're in a good spot.
Yeah, well, he's yeah, my mate that I was watching the game with tonight had a he's not a real big fan of SDK in the ruck. Neither
am I. I'd rather him play defense, but he's done a good job this year.
Yeah, doesn't. It's like you can't win a hit out, like, or get a winning hit out. You know, it's like, but if we don't want to play him in the ruck, it's like, what, you know, we don't want to pick him, play him in defense. Like, we got a problem with that now, do we? Yeah. I thought that was quite interesting. I said, yeah. I said, I don't know. I said, I'm sure he was. I think he was actually quite ill. So, yeah, I'm not totally sure about that, but yeah, it did give me pause for thought for a minute. It's like, you know, are we trying not to? Yeah, are we thinking that we don't want to just play him as a defender anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have thought that we would have, you know.
We do love flexibility at Geelong, though, right? So that might forever be the thing.
Well, I just like that. This is, I mean, it's a nice problem to have, I guess, but it's like, yeah, like we're gonna have to. I feel like, you know, I feel like he's only not in the side because he was crook, unless, you know, he wasn't actually crook and we just dropped him and we're bullshitting. But
yeah.
Although I did hear from someone that yeah, he was particularly unwell before the game last week. So
yeah.
Yeah, he really wasn't traveling very well at all. So yeah, so I don't think it's that, but I was surprised that, you know, I was surprised that he didn't come back in this week. But I guess we'll see what happens. I guess we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah. Any other thoughts from this one, or should we do a 3-2-1 and both of us can get some rest ahead of our? What did you say you're doing tomorrow?
I've got to go. I put my hand up to the canteen at my kids' school.
Work the school canteen, nice.
Short on volunteers, so I put my hand up to. I've got the working with children check now, so I can.
The all important working with children check.
Yeah, it's like Yeah, I'm not going to go into that.
It's one of those topics, that one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, maybe we need to have one in the off season. We need to do like one of those series, like what the Jumper Punch do, where they just sit there and just
Off topic.
Go, talk about social issues or something, whatever, for
Good
2
Lord.
or 3 hours and have a few beers, just batting the breeze. It's like, yeah, that I don't know how long I'd last to do it on a show like that, but
Yeah, it sounds like
anyway.
trouble.
Oh yeah, well, I get in enough trouble on the Discord without but yeah, votes. Tough one. I would give. I'd have to give 3 to Ollie Dempsey. He really ignited us early and just kept going all night. I'm going to give 2 to Shark. I thought he was when they really looked like they were going to mount it. The period where they were starting to look threatening, he was rock solid through that period in particular, but consistent all night. And 1 vote, I could give that to
a lot of people.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few players in contention for that one. I might look. I'm gonna just I'm gonna give it to another Ollie. I'm gonna give it to Ollie Henry just purely because I just love watching. I just love watching him just rile up the Pies supporters.
Oh yeah, no, they were losing their shit.
Kicks, like that's the thing. He just stars every time he plays them, and they hate him, and oh, we don't boo. Well, you're bloody booing him, you dickheads.
Yeah, they learned nothing from their coach whatsoever. But anyway,
yeah. So even just for the shits and even aside from the 3 goals and that ridiculous one at the end there that pretty much put the game on ice. And look, he's it's always a wild ride with Ollie, but just for the shits and giggles alone, I give you a vote.
That's fair. All right, mate. Thanks for coming on board. Looking forward to doing again next week. It won't be as late. We've got a 4:35 game, so we can just talk our way through Adelaide and Richmond that's on that night. So, because it's going to be a real entertaining on that one.
Well, I'm actually going to that one as well, and I'll have the family in tow. So, yeah.
Well, who knows? Because we'll probably kick on nice and late, given it's an earlier start for the show next week. So, who knows who bring everyone on. Sure. Everyone can talk about the blinds.
Well, like I did like when my missus was booking the rooms earlier today. I said, look, I'll probably end up doing PGL at some point during the evening. You just got to make sure that the curtains are spectacular. I don't care about anything else. The bed can be like a mountain range. The bath could be freaking mold. It's just got to have
top tier blinds.
It's got to have good curtains.
That's it.
So I'm hoping that she doesn't let the side down.
Well, we'll be judging harshly next week.
Yeah, for sure. And I will be included in that.
All right, mate. Thanks as always, and we'll chat soon.
No worries. Go Cats.
Thanks, mate. Oh, hang on. Where are we with the graphics? There we go. All right. That's where we'll wrap things up. Thank you to everyone for having tuned in tonight. Thank you to Jake and the chaps. I think Johnny was there as well. And thank you to guests who I don't even know joined the show earlier on. Yet I'll have to go backtrack and see who was there and share their thoughts and what they said. But that's something I can look forward to checking out later on. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Cats got the job done by 25 points. The margin was formed from a scoreline of 15-7, 97 the Cats to 10-12, 72 the Pies. again, thank you everyone for checking this one out. If you like the video, drop a like on it, subscribe to Hoops Crew on YouTube, share this video with your friends and family, get the word out there about all that we're producing. Lots of awesome stuff. And shout out to the new subscribers that come in tonight. Ben was messaging before, there've been half a dozen as of that point in time. And hopefully there's been a few more. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen tonight, don't hesitate to subscribe and share that stuff around because it helps us grow and get more eyes and ears involved as well. Go check out the Patreon as well, patreon.com/thehoopscrew. Got early access, extended and early access, extended and exclusive content there to check out. That's patreon.com/thehoopscrew. You'll find me on socials, Paul James Games. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. And until next time, Cats by 25. Hopefully 3 solid wins from here gives us a top 5 or 6 spot. Remain along strong. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you later.
It's time for the show. Dropping pussy town facts, mitts, forwards and backs. Representing G-Town while talking the smack. Crashing facts like Patty, where the hell you at? Hoops crew are exploding, don't ever look back. Then we got Paul, yeah, he knows his stuff. He's a man, he's a myth, taking on the nuts. The man don't miss, he loves to react. His words cut deep, he's a counterattack. Paul's on fire, brings the mic to life. Don't fuck with P-Dog if you value your life. Oh, they fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops Crew's here and they'll never back down. Jake, Tommy, Sambo, always rocking the game. Benny and Paul, man, remember the names. In the studio, Jake's bringing the noise. With Johnny and Sambo, the chaps chat boys, they're electric and they're ready to roll. The boys are on fire and they're taking control. Recaps and previews, yeah, they cover it all. Part of the Hoops Crew with Benny and Paul. They fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops Crew, baby, they'll never back down. Jake, Johnny, Sambo, always rocking the game. Benny and Paul, chasing glory and fame. Brad with the sleeves, Max Holmes and Jack Bowes. Tommy fucking Atkins, he'll break your damn nose. Stewie in the middle, and Reese in the ruck. They see Big Jezza and they know they're fucked. They're the G-Town boys, go hard or go home. They're fucking insane, taking over the throne. Oh, they fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town.